Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome, everyone. Episode 391 of the Massenomics podcast. We are the lifting podcast about nothing, formerly known as World's Strongest Podcast.
A podcast you listen to with your ears.
This is a podcast that you listen to with both of your ears. And it's also, that was originally the tagline. It later became a podcast you watch with your eyes if you, subscribe to our YouTube channel. So you can do a little bit of both.
Not a podcast that you wear on your head, though. That's a different thing.
No, do not. And don't buy it. Don't buy a podcast that you wear for your head. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
Welcome. This is a special one, Tommy, because of the whole 391 thing, of course.
Yep.
You add all of them together, 391, that's 13. And then you divide by 3, which doesn't work out perfectly.
But it's pretty damn close. And then if you reverse them, it's actually 193. So 1 times 9 is not 3, but it's pretty close again.
That's some Illuminati type shit right there.
There's something there.
We do have a special episode this week. We've got a big guest coming up later, and we've got important announcements about a trip we're taking. We've got some follow-up information.
Road trip.
Yeah, maybe a few of classic segments that we bring back again for this episode, so that's going to be pretty fun. But first, before we get into any of that, really, I want to tell you about JUGGERNAUT AI. JUGGERNAUT AI, first and foremost, is the training that Tommy and I have been known to use. We've got several other friends and acquaintances and gym members that also use it, so
enemies
we get to witness
as well.
Yeah, keep your friends close and your enemies on
our
JUGGERNAUT
growing
AI.
list of enemies just keep going on JUGGERNAUT AI.
Yes, there are enemies, but we still not so much our enemies that we don't want to see them get strong, so we still have them use JUGGERNAUT AI.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually talking about some programming in our Massenomics Discord community just today. It was, there's a good conversation about that, and focus point or the takeaway on that, I think, was that a lot of people like any good training. Let me say it this way: any decent programming is a step beyond what most people are doing. Mm-hmm. And when I say most people, I'm not necessarily saying most people as in the listeners to this podcast or our Discord community. Those aren't most people. I'm saying your average people that aren't even listening to the Massenomics podcast, that aren't as serious about training. They could benefit from any decent programming if they could just stay consistent and do almost any programming.
Mm-hmm.
I do think JUGGERNAUT AI is a few steps ahead of that, but that still is kind of my central theme on part of why JUGGERNAUT AI works so well, because you get a little skin in the game with this programming. I think you have an additional level of skin in the game, because you pay a little bit of money. You end up with discount code Massenomics, you pay about $30 per month. So that does make you more accountable, at least for a lot of people when they're just spending a little bit of money on it. And then B, just by the way that the app is and that the tracking is, I think it does more to keep people more accountable within their day, within their training of each training day, and then also within just like the cycles of staying consistent with it. So that's one perk of JUGGERNAUT AI, staying more consistent. I mentioned the other major perk, discount code Massenomics, when you go to juggernautai.app and get signed up.
Today's episode is also brought to you by Bearfoot Shoes and the Massenomics collaboration, the Ursanomics. That's right. The first ever Massenomics / Bearfoot collaboration is live for pre-order right now. It is a genetic splicing of suede and canvas, something they've never done before. We got the black, we got the red, we got the Massenomics logo, and it is incredible, and Tanner is just teasing it into screen so slowly. Oh, it's a thing of beauty. These babies are on pre-order, but they're going to be shipping soon. We're less than a month out from these things shipping. I don't know. They could ship in the next couple of weeks for all I know. And this thing is amazing. We started with 250 pairs It is significantly lower than that. Pairs are selling out. So if you think you're interested, make sure you go get a pair right now, because once they're gone, and you're going to want to be a part of this piece of history. And if you're ready to buy a pair, go to www.barefoot.store and pick yours up today. And while you're there, make sure to use code MASS and throw a pair of the Barefoot Awesome Wraps into your cart, and you'll get those wraps for free. So one more time, add the Awesome Wraps to your cart, use code MASS, get the wraps for free, go to barefoot.store, add the Ursanomics, Massenomics collaboration to your cart. You're going to love them. Thank you, Bearfoot Shoes.
Thank you, Barefoot. The Barefoot ad is my new favorite part of the podcast every time, because I do silly things.
You
with
have the live prop back there. You
I do things with the prop as you do it. That's just an added bonus. If you watch us on YouTube, you get to see the Ursanomics shoe in action each week.
Interpretive shoe dances.
I like to pull out a new thing that I do with the shoe each week. So I'm just excited for what I think of next week.
What will he do next?
You don't want to see where I'm gonna put that shoe next.
He's crazy.
Okay, this week, a lot of stuff to get to. First thing, what everyone's been warning about, the stereo at Massenomics Gym. Everyone, I think, has been clamoring for an update.
What's been going on here? I just see this posted, and I'm very concerned.
Yeah, so, we've had that Bluetooth.
First of all, the Massenomics stereo has a storied history that goes back.
It does.
Has many chapters to it.
It does.
It has some peaks and valleys, some highlights, and some crushing lowlights.
Don't know if we actually have time to get into the full history of the Massenomics Gym stereo and the various evolutions. It does have
It is a rich history, though.
Yeah, but it is much like the elevator business with its ups and its downs. There's certainly some lowlights in the history of the Massenomics stereo. And right now, I think we're on the precipice of a really a high period where we're out of a valley. We're out of the pit of despair here, and we're back into...
Was there a stage of despair, actually?
Yeah, we're at lowest of lows at the
What
Massenomics
happened?
Gym stereo. The old amp.
The old amp? You mean the amp that's like 2 years old?
That's like over 4 years old by now. We had that still when the gym was only one side.
That amp we did?
Yeah.
Oh,
the Bluetooth one.
I thought
we got that towards the end of.
Okay. I thought that
one
amp didn't come into existence until we got the second room over there.
No, it was towards but we've had the second room for like almost 4 years now too. So
that actually is shocking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So this new amp, I'll call it the Bluetooth amp, because this amp, it was the non-Bluetooth amp. It was the older amp, but actually more powerful. Older but more powerful amp got replaced with this newer, maybe some bells and whistles, but not necessarily a better quality amp. I'm not an expert on sound equipment.
And when you say better quality, you're talking about really when we're talking quality here, the main concern is how much power it can sustain.
That's,
right?
I think, the power. This new amp doesn't have near the power of that old amp, although the old amp being many, many years older. But the new amp, it's just been cutting out. And
whether it's Bluetooth, wired, anything?
Yeah, it wasn't the wires. I actually ultimately determined every time you could...
Oh, yeah. Could you push on a spot?
I could. I found the perfect spot on the top of it that I could push down on the casing, which is funny because there was nothing underneath where I would push down, because the casing on an amp is usually just empty space.
It's really
a hollow box.
Isn't it more just for airflow than anything?
I suppose so, because there's, it's like a 5-inch gap, and then you get to the actual electronical components that are right on.
Yeah, I assumed a lot of it was
amp.
for airflow because it generated a lot of heat when you're pushing those things.
That would make sense. But I found this perfect spot. I would call it fonzing the stereo, where because people were always hitting it and doing all the stuff and janging the cables. And one day because you could tell there was something going on that would fix the stereo. But I through a lot of trial and error, I found the perfect spot where I'm like, you just press right here firmly and it fixes it. You could hear an audible click, even that it would go click, and then it would be working again. Sometimes that would only last for like 3 seconds, and you have to go do it again. It lasts for 4 seconds. You go do it again, 2 seconds. By like the 5th time you do it, it clicks, and it's like, it's good for the rest of the day.
It's like an invisible button that only you.
But because I could not get everyone on the same page of understanding the system.
He's just getting the shit.
People
beat
were
out of
beating
it.
the shit out of it. I was sending out snaps.
They're going in. Yeah. It's become the similar to the fax or the copy machine in Office Space. They're like, it's their mortal enemy.
Yes, and I'd come in and all the speaker wires people were like fucking with all the speaker wires and shit everywhere, and I was like, God damn it, and it's getting worse and worse all the time. Like the amp is past its prime, unfortunately. So what we did in true Massenomics gym fashion, Larry is our audio guy. For anyone that doesn't know, Larry Legend is our primary audio guy. We brought the old amp out of retirement.
Oh, it's still around?
We fixed it. Well, it was not working properly. So he had it fixed back, 4 years ago when he took, because it's a quality piece of audio equipment still, kind of. It was worth fixing. So he had it fixed for like, say, $100 into it. So we brought that back. We set it up, and we also did all new speaker wire too. Because the gauge of the speaker wire on the old stuff was actually crap for the length that we were running.
Sure.
So we kind of thought maybe there was some issue there with speaker wire. So replaced all new speaker wire and ran the speaker wire through the wall.
Oh, so it's not just tucked into
like
the
where
edge
it's
of the
duct
floor.
taped to the floor.
Yeah.
Not anymore. It's
Okay.
pretty high class now. But then we got it going, did all this stuff. Larry especially spent like a couple hours doing all this stuff. Got the new amp, and like 20 minutes after he walked out the door, new amp started cutting out like it used to back in the day. Did some he talked to some guys, did maybe some searching, and it's like, it's probably the real issue with that is there's a speaker that's bad, and the bad speaker is causing the amp to do that. So then we had to go through each so we're like, well, what do we do here? We got the 4 speakers, and within each speaker there's like 3 speakers.
Yeah, true.
So so it's like a trial and error. So we started with the main 4 speakers, just not having one of them hooked up.
And then we just let it play for a while to see what it did.
Yeah. And then we finally got to the 4th one, unhooked that, and it's like, I think it's working now.
So what speaker was this one then?
One of the wood ones, and it was the wood one that was in the party side of the gym, the business in front, party in the back. It was in the party in the back.
Back by the squat rack, or?
No, not that one. One of the wood ones right next to the...
Right by the door?
Right by the door. So what we did was, now we have we have the wood ones both centered, but we put the bad one that's actually not even plugged in. That's in the business side of the gym, and the party side. So the party side has 2 working speakers. The business side only has 1. But this new amp, even with just the 3 speaker setup, is much louder than
it is noticeable.
I was like, holy shit, I forgot how loud this is.
So did you have to update the sign for the volume number now?
Well, the old amp actually has a piece of tape that I had put in there. I assume it used to be a note next to it's like a very permanent piece of tape, like a slash right on the dial. And I know that the point of that slash is like, don't go above this line.
Yeah.
But I still have to do some more modification, because Massenomics Gym is a place of many signs of giving you directions of what to do, because of there not being anyone that's permanently working
there's
there.
No supervision. You gotta.
I rely on a lot of signage, so that if multiple people are there, if rules are being broken, you probably at the very least feel like a rule breaker, because you're like, yes, we can all clearly see what the sign says. Right. So it works. It's almost better than ever right now at the moment. It seems to be working very well, although by switching back to the old amp, we lost our Bluetooth capability.
Yeah, I can see how that might...
But
you can get a Bluetooth adapter.
The good news is the Bluetooth adapter showed up in the mail today, so I got to take that and hook it up, and then have a Bluetooth adapter. And at the end of the day, I think we're going to be in, like I said, peak gym stereo
so
mode.
Will there be a new speaker so that the other, or is the other side just going to be rocking with one?
Well, in theory, there would eventually be a new speaker. I wouldn't say... it's funny how much I cherish the gym equipment and how much effort and time and money I put into the gym equipment and how much I neglect the gym stereo in the grand scheme of it. that's kind of like part of the thing to me that I start to think it's funny about, because everyone freaks out if the stereo is like,
yeah, it is. There's not many
everyone's like,
not many things that can get people in an uproar more than.
Oh, God.
I think like three squat racks could be broken, and there might be less of a concern.
as long
than
as the
if
stereo works. Yeah. So I got a kick out of it. I wasn't sending you to, but all the gym members that I had on Snapchat, I was sending them all these very, very long, detailed stereo updates about everything, almost kind of a joke, like here, I'll keep everyone very abreast on the most recent stereo updates.
You gotta know.
So yeah, no, I'm not in a rush to buy the new speaker mostly because it's working right now, and the whole system is a house of cards.
Right.
And if it's working, I'm just not gonna monkey with it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But that would be the next step, is a new. But also, speakers are freaking expensive.
Yeah.
So actually, I don't know if I ever talked about it. I had someone quote to come in and one of the local sound people to completely
Was
just
it Speaker City? It was a guy named Vince. He was.
No, that would be better though. But I had him give me this legit quote of a pretty sweet setup, and it would be very sweet. But it was almost $5,000, and I'm like, I'm not going to spend $5,000 on this. That's so much equipment that I could buy.
Guys unsupervised with this thing.
That's the other thing. That was the biggest thing. I'm like, no, it'll be ruined. Because people are like, turn it up.
This goes as loud as a concert. Let's do it.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
End stereo update. Do you have a can over there?
I do, and I'm thirsty.
All right. I saw you dipping into something a little special last week, so
I figured we had to do it too.
Go a little matchy.
Pamplemousse, baby.
God, that pamplemousse you had last week looks so damn good.
Oh yeah. And it's still good.
Woo. That hits.
Every time it's like the first time, isn't it?
That's tasty.
Ooh, one of the all-time greats.
Hot diggity dog, that's good.
Isn't it though? Just a classic in every set. It's not doing too much.
No, it's just right.
It's just right. It just knows what it's supposed to be doing.
Freaking right. I don't know if there's much that fits better in a Massenomics drink spotter than a LaCroix Pamplemousse.
And it looks good in there too.
It does.
The aluminum of the drink spotter really complements the aluminum of the can.
Yeah, that's a good beverage. I give it a 4 all day. That's a solid 4.
Oh.
I almost tricked myself into forgetting how good just a simple pamplemousse is.
It's great stuff. We have matching shirts on tonight, Tanner. You probably can't.
I actually did not know. I never noticed that.
Well, because when my actual recording on YouTube, you can see more of my torso, where the way that the webcam works, you can only see about my neck up. But we have the same shirt on, which is always funny to me when that happens, because there's about a 1 in 55.
I think we have way more shirts than that.
I'm just saying ones that are in the regular rotation.
Yeah.
About a 1 in 50-ish chance that we have the same shirt on, and it seems to happen somewhat regularly.
The odds have to be we need a statistics guy to figure this. But say if I have 20 Massenomics shirts in my rotation and you have 20 Massenomics shirts in your rotation. But they're not
the same 20.
Right. Say only 10 of them are the same.
Mm-hmm.
But we each have 20 in our rotation. What are the odds? And we record once a week. I don't know if that's even relevant.
Yeah. Because the chances wouldn't be 1 in 10 then.
It'd be way less than 1 in 10. Even if we each just have 20 and we have the exact same 20, it's still way less odds than 1 in 20 that we would wear the same one, right?
Probably.
Because for us to both wear the same one on the same day.
I get what you're saying. I just don't know numbers enough to say whether what you're. I just want to throw the word exponential out there, and it's.
I think someone, if someone that's into that sort of thing would be able to figure this relatively easily.
There's definitely some guys in the Discord that will give us some follow up on
when this episode comes out. I know the way that this works. This is episode 391. It's not my first rodeo. Here's the math problem that I want the answer to. Tommy has 20 Massenomics shirts in his regular rotation. I have 20 Massenomics shirts in my regular rotation. Of the 20 we each have, 10 are crossover. We have 10 that are the same. We record the Massenomics podcast once a week. I don't know if that's relevant to this particular word problem, but what
Right.
are the odds that we wear the same shirt for the podcast night with having no other knowledge of what
The people
each
want to
other are
know.
wearing?
Someone figure that
Yeah.
out for them. They want to know.
Yeah.
All right, but nice shirt, I guess what I'm trying to say. Signs. I do have sign follow-up. Not the movie Signs, in case you're wondering.
Not
if
with
that's
Mel
where
Gibson
I was
and
not
Joaquin
going there.
Phoenix.
Not going there.
Swing away.
We were talking about Tanner's colorful signs that he saw in
And
Canada.
this what by colorful signs, it wasn't like a gay pride thing either.
No, it was not. It's the very large, I don't know, 8x8 black sign that has bright neon letters in the slats on it.
cut out of
Usually
construction
something
paper.
like now open or special going on today.
Someone made it on like somebody's mom made it on their Cricut at home.
Yeah. And at first you were describing them. I couldn't figure out what the hell you were talking about. And then someone posted a picture and I thought, oh, I see those things I've seen those things a lot. I know exactly what that is. Okay. Driving around Sioux Falls this week, those damn signs are everywhere. My brain just doesn't even see them. Do not even recognize them at all.
Big Colton, was it Big Colton that posted one this?
Yeah,
it
that
was a
one's
Taco
actually
John's in Crew Falls.
that one's actually on the way to my house. Drive by that one twice a day if I'm actually 4 times a day if I'm taking the kids to and from daycare. See that thing all the time.
So they are all over Crew Falls.
You go down 41st, which is the main busy road in Sioux Falls. You'll probably see over 50 of them, easy. They're
So
all
it's
over.
Western, Northeast, South Dakota that really must have a
moratorium on them. They said get them out of here.
Yeah,
those things are everywhere in Sioux Falls. There's so much signage and shit everywhere. You don't even see
Right.
them. They just blend in with all the other crap.
Well, they're right on the ground.
And they are right on the ground. But there's just so much stuff on the boulevards. There's just so much signage on these busy streets that you don't even see anything. You look at that one, right next to it is a sign for the Taco Bell drive-through. There's another sign for construction right there. There's that one sign has 2 signs, one to the left and
I
right of it
suppose
too.
maybe that's why the theory of some cities saying, no, we're going to have rules on these signs because we want the signs that do exist to
mean something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If everyone's
right.
shouting, the only way to sound out is to just shout even louder,
then
I guess.
Well, and then it becomes the sign off where it's like there's just so many signs.
Mm-hmm. So they're around. They're here. You just got to open your eyes to what's right in front of you, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good Crew Falls update too.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone always wants to know about what's going on with Crew Falls.
Yeah. It's a very vibrant community down here.
I'll let you pick. We probably have time for one of the other of these now, and the other one maybe we do after our guest. Do you want to talk about our Ohio trip this week, or do you want to play Who Weighs More? Whichever one we don't do now, we can do later.
I think we need to give people a preview of the Ohio trip this week.
Okay.
Before we get too far into this.
That's probably a good idea. So today we're recording on a Monday night this week, a special Monday night recording because we have a special trip this week. On Thursday, we'll be in, well, what is the itinerary? We're going to be in flying into Dayton, Ohio on Thursday.
Mm-hmm. We should touch down, what, was it 11 a.m.-ish? 10:30 a.m.? Something like that.
Touchdown, something the Colorado Deion Sanders team didn't know much about this week. Am I right?
The Broncos, even for that matter, if you see that game.
Yes, like 70 points for the Dolphins.
Like, was it 70-20 or something?
That was a quick sports segment into yeah, so we touched down in Dayton, Ohio on Thursday morning, just a few short days from now. And then we got to hightail it over to London to see Dave. And we got a pretty action-packed schedule there. We're going to be podcasting Table Talk, which couldn't possibly be more excited for that, I don't think.
Man, that one is going to be a trip.
That's going to kind of feel like a little bit of a surreal experience, honestly.
Being in that seat and doing this there, it's going to be weird. I can't get it through my mind that we don't need to come with a list of 100 questions because
I've already written down a ton.
But isn't that funny though? That's not.
I can't not.
I keep doing it and having all these questions in my mind. And I'm going to write them. I'm like, well, but that's not really. People don't want us to go on Dave's podcast and then we're on Dave's podcast and we're asking him questions, right? Don't they want Dave to direct us and lead this thing?
I think so, but I can't help it. Also, like, it's if you having done almost 400 of these, that's a problem I have. Even the last somebody else's I was on was Rob Vintage Weights PGH. I was on guest on his podcast, and I can't help but I've already thought of all the questions I think he's going to ask me. So like I have answers for, like, I want to give him these answers before he even asks me the question, because I think about it from this
introduce me,
perspective.
I'll take it from here, man.
Right. It's like, I already know the questions you're going to ask. I'll give you all the answers, which isn't necessarily true, but that's the way I'm out. And then that's the other thing. It's always like, well, I have questions for you. Like that's what we're doing here. Right. But it's really not. So it is hard to do that.
I know. I just have to constantly remind myself, no, that's not our job on this trip. Our trip is to be interviewed, not be the interviewers.
Yeah.
But there is also, though, it is nice to get, it's always funny because at the end of almost every Table Talk episode, he goes, was there anything you wanted to cover that we haven't talked about? And I just think in my mind, how much time do you got, Dave?
That's why I do think we'll have a good opportunity then to hit him with some more Massenomics, goosery.
Obviously, we're going to make him play over under.
Of course.
He can't get out without playing that one.
Yes.
Might have some other fun games to introduce to him while we're there as well.
Yes.
Possibly a can of some kind.
Yes.
All that good
I'm
stuff.
Just making more notes right now, even just as we. That's what I can't help but make all the notes for the podcast. We're going to be the guests.
Maybe I'm trying to think, but was it on the Dan Bell episode? Dave mentioned that he doesn't like sparkling water at all.
I think so.
And Dan Bell said, "Oh, you got to talk to Massenomics. Maybe we need to bring a flight of sparkling waters. Just be like, all right, okay, we're gonna take you through we're gonna make you try all these," and he's just gonna think they're all awful.
That would be fun. We should do that. If we have just a little bit of time, we could even pop into a little C-store and make that happen on the way there.
Yeah, I think
so. Then we get there, we do Table Talk. I mean, that'll probably take several hours, and hopefully while we're there, we can maybe shoot a little YouTube stuff also. We'll be YouTube vlogging a little bit of everything along the way, as much as possible, probably on the trip.
Yeah, we'll for sure do a travel vlog, and then like to get at least a dedicated video out of Elite FTS. It's just hard to say with how the time works out, but get a dedicated video while we're there at some point, and then we'll get another dedicated video or possibly two the next day. But yeah, first day though, we land, go straight to London, Ohio, and we have no idea. We're going to get there probably, what do we figure, 1-ish?
Well, we think we're going to hopefully start recording at 1,
okay,
so hopefully we get there by 12:30. Yeah. Yeah, 12:30 would be a 2-hour trip to get there, which it shouldn't, it's like an hour drive, but we got to rent a car and do all that crap. So, yeah, and then we could be there for a very long, I assume when we get done, we'll pretty much be like, all right, let's get in the car and drive to Detroit and get to the hotel.
Yes, so that's the next thing we're doing, which, if you don't know much about the far, far eastern part of the Midwest. Exactly. Saying driving from Ohio to Detroit seems like that'd be a long ways, but it's actually not, what are we, 3 hours, I think?
Yeah. For us, that's a hop, skip, and a jump.
That takes you from western northeast South Dakota to eastern southeast South Dakota.
Exactly.
You haven't hardly covered any ground at that point. So
no,
we get to go up to Detroit. We get there that night, and then probably be extremely tired, go to bed, and then we get to start the next day by going to Dr. Mike's house.
Dr. Mike's in the morning, which we hope it's not like some elaborate ruse to kidnap us or
it's just, we get there and we actually didn't look at the address ahead of time. We haven't actually Googled it, and we just get there and it's the middle of a Waffle House parking lot and there's a van waiting to take us.
Yes.
It's been set up this whole time.
So we'll get there and we're going to record an episode of our podcast with Dr. Mike there with him. And then not exactly sure. We're up against a time buffer of some sorts on Friday afternoon, evening that we got to get to the airport to fly back. So we'll see what we have time for, but hopefully we also maybe get a YouTube video out of that or something too, 1 or 2 there possibly. It just depends, I guess, on the timing.
Yeah, well, for sure. Yeah, we're for sure doing a podcast, but yeah, it's how much more can we sneak out? Mike is good for so many sound bites and so many funny reactions that
right.
We talked about it. We could sit with him for a day and throw out so many dumb scenarios where get him to react to this. What's his opinion on this? let's make a list of this. I mean, we could make so many videos, but when you're limited for time, you just got to do what you can.
So we'll just see what we have time for.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we'll be eating at places along, we get a few meals in here, and that's probably one of the funnest parts about travel vlogging is like, what eateries are we going to check out along the way?
Lots of options there.
Yeah. Yes.
Chili's,
and then we get
Applebee's. Options are almost limitless.
Yeah, TGI Fridays.
Yeah.
Little TGI Fridays flies under the radar sometimes, I think, in that mix.
I've actually never been to a TGI Fridays before.
Really?
As far as I know, unless I went there on accident one time and didn't realize it.
Unless you went there one time and it was a Chili's and you didn't pay attention to the sign out front.
I quickly realized I'd made the wrong decision.
And then we fly back Friday evening, back into Crew Falls.
So
that's it. Bada bing, bada boom.
It's a quick 1, 2, 3. Actually, we get back Friday night. I might be going to bed Friday night and heading to Western Northeast South Dakota Saturday morning even. Just because I can't get it
up right up here.
I just have to see both extremes of the Midwest, the farthest east and almost the farthest west you can go.
Yeah, the farthest northwest.
So my trip might be just starting when we get back Friday night.
Well, that's mine too. I also have to come. I think Friday night I'm gonna just haul back here because if we get back at a decent time, I'm like, I'll get home at midnight or 1
I talked about it. I think I'm gonna be so tired that I would just rather wake up at 6 a.m. than
and you'll also be at your house.
Of my own beds here, so that makes
right.
It's really not exciting to drive 3 hours, get somewhere at 1 o'clock to not
stay
sleep
at somebody else's
bed.
Yeah. Because me, I'm like, if I power through this drive, my reward is being home and waking up home.
Yeah, I get penalized for driving late.
Right.
So
that is a far different scenario, actually.
Yeah, I'll take the early bedtime and just get up. Actually, possibly my normal time.
And we call at my house we call that earning EBT, early bedtime.
Oh.
Certain actions can earn you EBT, and by earn, sometimes it's not what people want, but like myself and my wife would love to earn EBT, but my kids, on the other hand, sometimes their actions can earn them EBT when they would prefer to not be earning EBT.
Lately, I'd be happy to earn late bedtime. Actually, the way my life's going at the moment, so I just take any BT at this point. Wife's been on a stretch of her basically not getting home from work until 1:32 in the morning, and it has been brutal to say the least.
You want to know what my secret is? I'm always tired.
You just don't sleep. You don't have to worry about getting woken up. It's starting to be my philosophy on how this whole thing works.
That's the way. This is the way.
Someone save me.
I'm so damn tired. So tired. That's my secret. I'm always tired. Yeah, so you wouldn't mind if someone made you earn some EBT?
Oh God, I'd probably have like a panic attack. I wouldn't know what to do.
See, that'll be like when we do these trips and stuff. That is part of the thing when you go in the hotel. Like when you and I have to go on trips, it's like, oh, it's just so quiet in here.
It's just weird. It's like, what am I supposed to do? There's not all these people yelling and running around and needing things.
It's a little too quiet.
It is.
Like, nope, it's not. It's actually really good.
It's unsettling. There's too much quietness in the air.
Yes. You want to hear a little supporting our supporting members this week?
Let's do it.
So this is a relatively new segment to the podcast. We have supporting members. You could choose to become a supporting member if you would like to. We would love to have you. It means a lot every time someone signs up. We really appreciate everyone that's signed up over the years. Go on to our website. It's massenomics.com/join. We've got multiple supporting levels that you can choose to sign up at there. We'd love to have you at any of them. Choose a level that works right for you and your budget. You get a whole bunch of perks. It's basically Perk City Population U when you get signed up. You get things like a discount code that's exclusive to a supporting member. You get things like early access to new drops. You get the first dibs on stuff like that. You get to know about stuff that's coming out before other people know about it. You get online access to our very active Discord community. We've talked about that quite a bit, and that Discord community is a bunch of like-minded individuals. You get to get on there. You get to listen to the podcast live. We've got a group of them listening live right now, so that's an option for you once you become a supporting member. We send out these random periodic free kind of crew gifts. That's part of one of the cooler features also. And then also, this supporting our supporting member segment. You could find yourself getting a shout out here for doing something cool like this week. Big Ryan Imbach. What is Ryan from Wisconsin? I think Big Ryan's from Wisconsin. Friend of Big Tim. Anyways, he was at the Illinois State Championship Strongman competition where he got second place out of the heavies. That included a very speedy 675-pound deadlift that he had there. Nice. So nice job, Big Ryan.
Yeah.
Then we had Big Sam Brown, former guest of the podcast, also a supporting member. He was at WRPF Nationals, lifting equipped there. He did a 727 squat, a 507 bench, a 639 deadlift for an 1873 total.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. So great job, Big Sam. Always good to see that. Big Bryce from Crew Falls was in a Stein holding competition. He said it was hard, but he held it for 3 minutes and 33 seconds.
Did he say where that placed him in the competition?
I don't think he said.
He didn't
I don't
post
know
results.
that he said.
I'll assume
I'm
he
not
got first
sure.
then.
Yeah, everyone. When you're crew, you're first. That's what they say. You're a win. No matter what place you get, if you're crew, you're a winner. And then Big Katie also did a Stein holding competition. She wasn't sure of her time, but she won.
Oh,
so
we don't need
one
to know,
we have a time but no placing, and
won.
one we have a placing and no time. Take that as you will. But thank you to our supporting members. We appreciate it. We'd love to have you sign up if you'd be interested in coming aboard the supporting member family. Become an unpaid intern. We'd love to have you.
Very
have
nice.
you seen, Tommy, have you seen the Strength Co's bumpers? They're for sale officially now. You can go to the website. At the time of this recording, I think as of today, you can go to the strength.co, and you can now purchase bumpers. They're ready to ship even, I think, too.
I believe so.
Live orders are coming in, so you can buy those Strength Co bumpers in 45s, 25s, and 10s, and those are made in America bumpers. One of your very few, if not like only, made in America bumper choices. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's kind of the case. One of the very few made in America bumper options. So if you've enjoyed supporting the Strength Co in the past and you've been thinking about getting bumpers, now they have made in America, affordably priced bumpers as an option to go, which pair awesome with their iron plates that you've come to know and love at the Strength Co.
I'm going to call the founder tomorrow and really get to the bottom of what he was thinking with this whole creation of these crazy
Makes
bumper
you wonder,
plates.
well, what the heck's this guy going to do next? He really is the Buddy Caps of our generation.
Like, what is going to slow this guy down? He's crazy over there.
Can't stop, won't stop.
So is Massenomics Jim going to have a pair of these, a set of them next time I show up
I haven't
there?
ordered any yet. I just don't. I'm more inclined to buy more iron plates which is funny because we have so many, but I just
But it would look so cool to have a set next to all the other ones.
Yeah, we will have a set, probably just because I just want a pair that says the Strength Co on it. Yeah, we will get a set. I mean, I'll get a pair of each of the sizes, I think, and that'll probably do me. But I'm more so wanting to buy a few more iron plates. The more I've looked at the racks, I'm like, if I had one more pair of 10s on each rack and one more 45 set on this, it's just like to fill out the plates that are there just to make it look more aesthetically pleasing.
160-pound set, $350. Not bad at all. Just throw that in the
cart. You almost
cart.
can't afford not to get that, can you?
Almost can't afford not to. Our guest is here right now. Should I get him in here? Or he's been waiting a little while, actually.
Yeah, should we boot everyone out?
Yeah,
and
I'll start.
let him hop in.
I'll start kicking him here.
Maybe while you're doing that, should I read one more?
Yeah, why don't you?
Okay. Are you tired of supplements that just don't work?
I thought you were just asking if I was tired, Tanner. I was going to say yes.
We've established, yes, we are both very tired. Are you tired? Yes, we are tired. Thank you for asking.
Ad's done.
Tired of supplements that just don't work? You take them a few minutes later, maybe an hour or two, and you feel absolutely jack diddly poo-poo. Most supplements are underdosed, contain fillers, cost-cutting compounds, and proprietary blends, which all confuse an inconvenient truth. They just do not work. Maybe it's not your fault. You keep bombing those PR attempts, have low energy. Maybe your supplements suck. Well, thank you, our fellow South Dakotans at Build Fast Formula. They're making high-quality product formulas that contain clinically dosed, research-backed compounds with no unnecessary fillers, so you can build towards your goals faster and finally feel a difference in the gym. Like this Vaso Blitz right here from Build Fast Formula. Massenomics listeners can snag their first formula at 10% off. That's buildfastformula.com and use discount code Massenomics when you check out. And if you want to save even more moolah, upgrade your order to a subscription to save an additional 10%. That's 10 plus 10. That's like 50% off. Again, discount code Massenomics, 10% off. Buildfastformula.com. Vaso Blitz.
Should we get our guest in here?
Let's do it. Big Joel.
Yes.
Joel.
Is that you?
This is it.
It's the one and only.
Yeah.
We're excited to get you on. Can you hear us okay?
Good. Yeah, things are good.
Awesome.
All right, we're just going to get going. We got so much good stuff to say. We don't want to waste it with not recording on the podcast.
You got it.
All right. So we got Big Joel Dirks joining us this week. Joel you're known for all kinds of things. Some of the things I would say is a strongman competitor over the years at a high level. More recently, you do a whole bunch of cool grip stuff on the internet. You know, that's what we've seen more recently is just grip strength stuff and almost like just crazy grip strength plate flipping things that just come across really cool on what Instagram and TikTok and stuff is like now. It's stuff that looks cool because normal people can't do it. And then one of our favorite accolades of yours is you're a Minnesota Midwest guy. So that's like one of our favorite parts about you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm here in Minnesota, so not too far from you guys, probably like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 5.
You're just north of,
yeah.
because you're just north. Yeah, Tommy, you're even closer than actually, aren't you?
I'm in Sioux Falls, so yeah.
Yeah. So you're a Minnesota guy, and a little bit about your background. Did you play football for Minnesota State Mankato? You're a Maverick?
So actually, so this will make sense to you guys. I went to University of Sioux Falls first.
Oh, really?
I went to University of Sioux Falls out of to play football out of high school.
Okay, yeah. So I graduated in 2001, so I'm probably a little bit old.
I graduated in 2005, so yeah, okay.
Okay, so I probably just missed you. So I was there for
Go Cougars.
Yeah, go Cougars, right? So I was there for my first 2 years. I did football and track, and then I transferred to Mankato. And I just did track there.
Okay. So was that the Kalen DeBoer years still at USF? Then?
No, you would have been the old coach before that, wouldn't you?
Bob Young was the head coach at that time.
Okay.
Yeah. And Kalen DeBoer was an assistant coach.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so he was the head coach that like recruited me when I went to play there.
Okay.
So I don't know how many years, I don't know. Bob Young had not been. I remember like being there, and there's like pictures of Bob Young all over the place because he was close to retiring, kind of an older guy, and must have had a really great career there and that sort of thing. I don't remember a lot about it, but yeah. So you played at the University of Sioux Falls.
Yeah, so we actually had a really good football team. So at that time we were NAIA,
right?
Before they went to Division II, and that's where my redshirt freshman year we went to the national championship and lost, and then the next year we got to the game before the national championship and lost. So very good teams.
Yeah. They won a national championship the year I quit, so it must have been. I was one. I was the problem.
You were the reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so now they're Division II.
Yeah. So were you there when Dusty Havorka was there, like one of their big players?
Yeah. And it was funny. Before I forget, we have a gym member, Tommy. I don't know if you know, but Jason Yurkovich. He was a USF guy, but he's even old. He's older than you. He played wide receiver there, but it would have been like
he played with Kalen.
Yeah, he played with. They were wide receivers together on the team.
Got it.
Yeah, that's funny. So you were how many years did you live in Sioux Falls for then?
So just a year and a half. So
okay,
I got injured my redshirt freshman year when we had spring ball, and I got injured or whatever. And long story short, I came back in the fall and still had the injury, and then they finally figured out. Went to a different doctor, got a second opinion, had surgery, and then came home after the surgery.
Okay, so then you went to Mankato after Sioux Falls.
You got it. Yep.
Okay. Another kind of coincidence. My sister threw at University of South Dakota. She was a thrower. And then after that, she went to Mankato. She was a competitive thrower at USD, but she didn't stay in track at Mankato, but she's the same age as you too. So she would have been there at the same time as you also, but she didn't throw anymore. So
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All kinds of 6 degrees of separation.
That's the Midwest for you, though, right? Everyone's connected somehow.
Yeah, you're just coming off. This isn't. I mean, this is probably the most prestigious podcast you've been on lately, but not a bad second fiddle. You just came off of. You were out in Colorado with Brian. It looked like.
Yeah. So we have a lot of things going together right now, and we'll get into that. But I flew out there for the whole week, and we did a couple videos. So like 2 of the videos have come out so far, where we did like the McDonald's thing, and then we went outside the stadium and had people try to lift the dumbbells, and then we did the podcast. And then the other video we did is we went and bought a 350-pound like globe dumbbell and tried to lift that. So people have to see that'll come out soon and see if Brian or I are able to kind of lift it.
So who had the globe dumbbell? Where did this come from?
So as you kind of know, like there's a very small niche group of like on Facebook, the vintage weights page and stuff like that. So I follow that. And there's this guy in Kansas City, Kansas. He kind of collects some old weights and has some from when like stuff he still uses. But he got this 350-pound globe dumbbell. It's from Jim Easley's gym in Kansas City, Kansas, from like the 70s and 80s. Jim owned the gym. And the story goes, he got this dumbbell from someone else. They were going to throw it away, and he saved it. And if anyone could lift it with one hand, they would give him a free gym membership. Obviously, no one lifted it. And they told us no one has ever lifted it like off the ground. So we went to go see if that was doable.
So what's the diameter of the handle?
I want to say it's like maybe just a smidge under 2-inch diameter handle.
Okay, so it's not like the Thomas Inch dumbbell handle.
No,
yeah.
The inch like 2 3/8. There's like no way, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But with the smaller diameter handle, like we thought maybe there's a chance, so we had to go check it out.
Okay, but you're not giving any spoilers yet.
Not yet, because I don't know when this is coming out, and they haven't posted the video yet. So
okay, I'd be curious.
Yeah, I'm
that'll
excited
be
to see
fun
that.
to watch. I did catch some of the McDonald's video. Can you explain what you guys set out to eat there in that video?
So the challenge was 95 chicken nuggets and 10 cheeseburgers, and it was supposed to be 6 sodas, but we only got 3 each. But essentially, we both kind of finished right around like half of our food. Brian thinks he ate more, but that's not what happened. He ate more chicken nuggets, but yeah, I ended up having like 8 1/3 cheeseburgers and like 27 chicken nuggets and 3 large Cokes.
Could you have gone any more, or were you at your limit, or like what?
Like if there were like, say like I just had to finish that 1 cheeseburger to be done.
Yeah.
That would have been it. But like when we were like, there wasn't much time left. I was like, this like I'm not trying to force it anymore because I'm not even close. I'm not even halfway. Right.
That's that's just a lot. That's always been. We've had this long running joke on the show going back many years that someone's going to sit and eat 100 big nuggets at once. But yeah, that's a lot.
Could you eat 100 McNuggets at once? Do you think? Could you do that if it was just McNuggets?
That's tough. Obviously, you want to say yes, right? Like I feel like 75, like you would probably be like, all right, I'm doing okay, and then the last 25 would just be awful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think after a while the texture would just get to be a lot.
Right. So that's where like the dipping sauce and the pop comes in huge because just that same taste. Then they're gonna start getting cold, and they're not very good cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, that's good. So why? So is the story is that Lizzo that she ever ate all that? Because I'm not buying that, right? Like
no, so I think it was kind of more to shame her a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so people had put that out on the internet. There was this, I would probably say it's more of like a meme thing that was going around.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say because that is a lot. Like there's probably so few people out there that can eat that, but not any average humans.
No, that was ridiculous.
Okay, so you know, obviously we're talking about the grip strength stuff, which is you got a lot of different grip strength stuff that you did, but like how long have you been, you know, because you were doing strongman for quite a while. Obviously strongman's a part, or grip training, grip events are a part of strongman, but how long have you really been like really into grip strength and grip training stuff?
Sure. So 2015, I was done competing in strongman, had back surgery, and then I had to figure out a way. I tried to get back into strongman, but my back said no. And I kind of right around maybe 2018 started to get like really into where I did like I just had heard about King Kong, showed up to an event, like had not trained any of the stuff, showed up and just jumped in and did it. And from there I was like, I don't want to say what place I got because I forget, but it was in the top 20, right? Somewhere in there. I forget. I don't want to say because people say, no, you didn't. But from there, I was like, man, what could I do if I actually like trained for this, right? Like if I knew what these events like were a couple months ahead of time and trained. So then I got into that for a while with that, but then like I didn't want to do the same implement over and over and over again. So like I started messing with plates and then blobs and inch dumbbells. So it kind of sparked from just that one contest.
Yeah, and you've obviously gone whole hog into it since then. What's your favorite grips feat of strength that you've done, or like what do you think is the coolest thing that you've done in grip strength? Because there's such a variety of grip tools and exercises and lifts, and it's almost limitless of what you could possibly do once you really start getting to it. But what's like one of the coolest things you think that you're most proud of being able to do?
Man, so when I went out and visited Sornex, I got to try some different plates I've never, had opportunity to lift. And so in front of Richard Soren, I took a York deep dish, one of the old ones from 60s or 70s, or York deep dish plate, and went from the rim, threw it up and caught the hub. To my knowledge, no one else has ever done that. And then just to see the smile and reaction on Richard's face, it tops anything else I've ever done.
That's really something cool. Like that is a good example. It obviously takes grip strength, but like there's a coordination and a timing and a skill of doing something like that that's like beyond grip strength too.
Yeah, so there's a lot of finger dexterity, eye hand coordination, a lot of stuff going into it. You got to catch it just right, man, because you hit a spoke, it's not happening. So it's a lot of timing. The stars kind of have to align. So
yeah, and for anyone that's listening, maybe it's hard to put this into perspective if you haven't ever like messed with any of that stuff, but like picking up any 45 by the hub, like I know there's different hubs and like some are harder and easier than others and everything like that, but like a 45 is a lot of weight for most people to pick up by any, by your fingertips essentially is what you're doing on those hub lifts.
Yeah, absolutely. And so think, like even to like take it by like the rim and put it up on the bar, right? Isn't easy, let alone by the hub and put it up on there.
Right. Who do you think has the strongest grip ever? Like, do people universally say like, yeah, this dude like has the best grip that anyone's ever seen? Is there anyone like that?
So this is just my opinion. I think it probably goes between Brian Shaw, Mike Burke. Are you guys familiar with who Mike Burke was?
Yeah. Did Brian and Mike train together at one point in time? Or World's Strongest Man competitor? And wasn't he like was he like a construction worker or something at the time? Something too? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So those two are probably at the very top. I think Carl Meyerskoff. What's so tough about grip is like there's so many different events, different things. Like if you have long fingers, you're a lot better at like thick handled stuff. If you have like medium sized hands, like for me, like hubs are a lot easier, or different things like that. Or if you have short fingers, a lot of stuff is a lot more difficult.
So what is your hand size like? Are you saying you're like middle of the road? Or when you say that, are your hands still probably bigger than like most people's?
Well, because how tall are you?
6'1".
Okay.
Yeah. So say from, like the bottom of your wrist to top of the finger, I'm at like 7.5. So finger length, I'm like probably pretty average, but like in terms of like thickness and meat, yes, like a lot more meatier. But my opinion is like the meat kind of hurts you. So like say like a bar is going to sit in here. This extra meat is kind of in the way for a thick bar. So it kind of makes it more difficult.
So do you think, based on what you're saying there, would overly long fingers be a disadvantage for something like hub lifting, or not necessarily, or would they be?
Yes, I think if you have really long fingers, really long thumbs, like you're not able to get like the strong part of my thumb like to that knuckle like in a good position, versus it'll be a lot lower on their thumb, so it makes it harder.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like strong doesn't get down on the hub.
Right. Right. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. And talking about these different plates and weights and stuff like that, and you even mentioned it there, but it's like grip training and vintage weights. You almost can't be into one and not the other. I mean, that's kind of the case, right? Like if you're into grip training, you're sort of into vintage weights too, right?
And I think like Roundheads have really brought that group of people into it, because what they saw, well, a lot of them probably saw like dollar signs. Hey, if I take this dumbbell and cut it up, now it's worth twice as much, right? And then they start messing with it, or they'll keep one end and they'll sell the other, and they start messing with it. It's just kind of fun because everyone can try it.
Right. So do you have you've got a little bit of everything when it comes to, you've got blobs and what do they call it if it's the half of a hex dumbbell? Is that dumbbell? Is that still a blob? You call it a hex blob, or what is that?
Yeah, I call it like a which I think are cool because so much easier to find, plus a lot cheaper, right? So it's a great way to start. The only thing with the hex blobs is there's such a variation in thickness. Some are real thin, kind of skinny, and then others are really wide. So the hex dumbbells really vary in difficulty by the thickness of the head.
Isn't with blobs, York blobs, isn't there even a difference between USA stamped and non-USA stamped? There's a little bit of a difference, right? Even though the heads don't look much different. What is the difference?
So the pre-USA are going to be a little bit thicker, a little bit more rounded. So it's a little bit more difficult. So the original Fat Man blob with no stamp on the bottom, the pre-USA, that one's more difficult than a pre-USA stamped half 100.
Yeah. So how have you collected all the, because where have you gotten all that stuff? Because I know we're in Western Northeast South Dakota, and I've been working on my Roundhead set, and I kind of have to beg, borrow, and steal from every possible scenario that comes up to try to
you have access to.
So, and you're kind of in the same boat. So
I get lucky in the sense of like in the cities here, there are people who will have them and sell them. Great story is in this small little town next to me, this lady, she had, the only thing she had was a pair of 9-pound roundhead dumbbells. So
with the rarest ones. Yeah, right.
There is. And she just has those randomly, puts them on Facebook Marketplace for $15.
How long ago? Like you're talking like 2 months ago, or because that just happened like a little bit ago?
Yeah, a couple, like maybe like a month and a half ago.
Wow.
You son of a, you got those? I tried to buy, I said the second I saw it, I figured, I'm like, someone's snatching these up, and I'm like, maybe I can convince her with a lot, I'm like, I'll give you $100 for those, right? I'll give you $100 right away. Someone might pay $500, but so you got those, because I tried to get those.
Yeah, I ended up with them. I had a buddy, my buddy Tony lives in that town, was like maybe a few blocks away from her. I was like, hey, can you go over there now and get them? And he went over there.
Fast.
Just give her $20 and say thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, because pairs of those 9s have been going for like $600 on eBay this year. It's crazy.
So yeah, I just had assumed like when I started like my Roundhead collection, like I just wasn't gonna have 9s, right? I'm not gonna spend $600 on a pair that I'm like barely ever gonna use, right?
Right.
So that
literally never used, probably, right?
Right. Well, now I do just because they're here and I know the value of them. But otherwise, like I just assume I'm never gonna have those. And like the only thing is I'm missing is 12s, and those aren't too bad. You can probably like 100, 150 bucks. Yeah. But I just, because like I said, I won't use them. Like if I find a deal like I did on the 9s, absolutely.
Let me know if when you get tired of those 9s, I'll keep track of them for you.
Safe spot for them.
I'll give you $30. You can double your money.
Yeah, there we go.
That's funny because I did try to buy that same pair of dumbbells.
Tanner's got to cast a really wide net to find.
Yes.
You have your search all.
Yeah, I just last month I got a pair of hundreds that came out of the cities that were for sale there for a while. So
Oh, okay. Yeah,
they're in St. Paul. Yeah, they're you cut out for a second. Yeah, they're painted. They'd been repainted very shiny black, which I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, that was terrible. I tried my hardest to get them as well.
You guys are competitors now.
We're fighting over the same roundheads over here.
Well, that was such a good deal.
Yeah.
So I had thought someone else got them because then there was another pair posted for like $600.
Oh no! What did I spend on them? Because I don't know which pair it was, but I did not spend. I think I spent.
Did you buy
how much were? What was that?
Did you buy? He had a whole bunch of stuff for sale, right? The first guy.
No, mine were just hundreds. I just got hundreds. At least from when I got them, all that he had was hundreds. Because that's the other thing too. Every time you buy something from someone, you're like, oh, do you happen to have anything else for sale? Like that lady, it's like, do you happen to have some 12s sitting there and some other stuff too? Because I'll buy that while I'm here.
Yes.
But his was just the hundreds. What about on the deep dish plates? Do you have a variety of deep dish plates then too?
Yeah, so that's my favorite thing to collect because I use them a lot more. Like my biggest thing is like. Me and my buddy Jeff talk about this is like so many people collect like old vintage stuff and it's just art, right? And I want to like actually use it. So like I have a whole bunch of like single plates, like a Marcy 45, which those are kind of like more rare, expensive, like, 200 some bucks a plate. They call it like Canadian bullseye plate. It's got like a bullseye on the back of it, a bend plate, a whole bunch of different variety of different hubs. And it's cool because I'll put them out and we'll see, somewhere like a Marcy's very easy. That would be like the beginner level of like lifting a 45-pound plate. And then some of them, obviously you work up to like a York milled back would be probably the most difficult.
Yeah, a York milled back, the hub is like that tall and like that big around.
Yeah. I would say it's kind of the gold standard of hub lifting.
Okay, so can you do a York milled back easily? Like, is that challenging for you, or like, because I mean that seems, I didn't even know, like that's insane, like hub lifting that thing.
So like just hub it is fine. Yeah, to pick it up. What I've done lately is like I'll take it by the lip, flip it, catch it at the middle. I've done that for double.
There is nothing to grab onto. I mean, like the lip is how you might even know. I mean, is the lip even an inch or like it's tiny?
I think it's a little over a quarter inch, maybe somewhere closer to like I don't know what's between a quarter and a whatever's
right. It's like 3/8 or something like that. Like, but literally, like for anyone that if you haven't seen York milled, I mean, these aren't deep dish plates. These are hubs that just there is almost not a hub there. There's very little to grab onto. Yeah, the shallow hubs is what we call them. Yeah, it's a wider hub too, so it spreads you out a little bit more. Right. Have you ever? We're big. We have a lot of Strength Co plates in our gym. Not a vintage plate, but kind of a cool American-made plate. Have you ever been around a Strength Co plate? Have you ever hub lifted one before? I guess I don't know what they look like. They look. They're 4-spoke plates. They're like shiny black E-coated, but they look a lot. They look sort of similar to the milled York. I would say they're machined on the outside edge and machined on the inside hub. But we might have to. They're a sponsor of the podcast. We might have to talk to them. I think you need a set of. You need a set of Strength Co 45s to be doing some hub lifting on that because I haven't seen many people do it. So. Yeah, that'd be super cool. See what I can do with them. Yeah, that's what we got to try out, I think. Do you have a favorite piece of equipment then? Like a favorite set of plates or a favorite anything? So for a while there, I was really looking for these Jack LaLanne 50-pound plates. So they got kind of a cool big round hub. But what's cool is they're 50 pounds versus the 45. So that one was kind of special because I just randomly found that at a Plate Against Sports for $1 a pound, and they're selling online for hundreds of dollars a plate. So that was special because I was looking for it, and then it just kind of found me. Yeah. You ever cross paths with Jeff Dabe before in Minnesota? So it's funny because he lives just like
a town away from me.
Okay.
Probably like 15 minutes from my house, but I've never met him.
Okay, and for anyone that's listening that doesn't know, I mean, just Google Jeff Dabe. It's Dabe. He is an arm wrestler. He's from Minnesota also, and he has enormous arms and like enormous hands on him.
And not just like he works out and has enormous arms. Like there's something
something like different about. He was born with like enormous arms. You know, I don't know what. I don't know what it's called or what it is, but you have to see a picture of him and you'd be like, yeah, this guy's arms are big, and he's got like some of the biggest hands probably in the world, and he's used that to his advantage, and he's been a very competitive arm wrestler. But has he done grip stuff before, do you know? Or
I think just like messing around with Juji, but the reason I think we've never crossed paths is he's not into like lifting weights or working out, from my understanding.
Okay.
Comments that like, he doesn't really lift, he just kind of arm wrestles, that's it.
I wish he would try some grip stuff.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
It would be very cool. I would, speaking of that 350-pound dumbbell, I would love to see what his hand size could do with that.
Yeah.
There would be certain things with like dumbbells where it's like, I don't even know, his hands might not even almost like fit into certain dumbbells.
Yeah. The width actually.
Yeah, so say like a Thomas Inch dumbbell is like a 4-inch handle. What's cool, the 350 dumbbell, it's like a 5-inch handle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he would fit in there well. It would be interesting to see with his hand size and strength, just what he could do if he a little bit off the ground or not.
Yeah, he needs to get over at your place and see what he can do with some of that stuff. I'd be curious to see how it plays out.
Right. Yeah. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. As a Minnesota guy, us as South Dakota guys on this podcast, we get called out a lot for we say certain words kind of funny.
Sure.
And I don't know if you pick up on it with listening to us or not, but a lot of other people, especially that aren't from the Midwest, they pick up on it. Does anyone ever, I can't really tell in your voice, I don't know if I notice it or not, but does anyone ever, when you go out of the region, does anyone ever call you out on that?
No, not so much me. My wife, for sure. She has like a big Minnesota accent versus I feel like I don't as much.
Yeah, I don't pick up anything. I mean, to me, you sound like people from the area, but I don't not in a way that you have a noticeable accent. I don't pick up on that from you much.
No.
Okay, I've got a test for you. What are I got to remember the 3 words that that they are. So the top of your house, the thing that covers your house, what do you call that? Or any building?
The roof.
The roof. Right.
The roof.
The roof.
Not the roof.
Not the roof. Yeah. So you said the same. I had to even think about that again. Yeah. So you say the same thing as us. The roof. Yeah. What about the bottom of a horse's foot?
Like the shoe?
Well, not the shoe, but like or any animal like that, like
hoof.
The hoof. Yeah. So,
hoof.
Right.
Yeah. That's
right. And what was the third one, Tommy? What?
Roof, hoof. And...
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's trees. On a tree, the thing that grows out in the ground. That well, no, like down under the ground that holds. Yeah,
Sorry.
What do you say?
Roots.
Yeah, roots, not roots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
okay, so you're the same as us.
Okay, and here's the other one that we've been getting catching a lot of heat on for catching heat for lately. What's that thing called? It's red, white, and blue, and it blows in the wind.
Flag.
Yeah.
And I can't even pick. I still don't even know. The people say we say FLEG. You know that we pronounce it flag. Flag, I guess.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be. What is it? So I still can't even say what it's supposed to be. I can't say it differently.
Flag. I don't know. Like it just sounds wrong. Whatever I'm trying to say there, I don't. But that's when we've been. Oh, that and also okay. You go to the grocery store. What do they put your groceries in when you leave?
In a bag.
Yes, that's the one that gets a lot of people.
Or like button.
What was that?
I think button. I think people say funny too sometimes. Button.
Oh,
okay.
That's probably new. We'll probably get called out on that one this week. Now that you said that.
Yes.
Button versus button.
Button. See, I say button.
Button.
It's button.
Button. Yeah. Minnesota. Okay. which of these states has the most shoreline? California, Florida, Hawaii, or Minnesota?
Oh, shoreline.
Yeah.
I would assume California, but it's probably a trick.
Yeah, it's a trick. The answer is Minnesota has more shoreline than California, Florida, and Hawaii combined. When you can count in lakes.
That land of 10,000
Yeah.
lakes.
Because all the
Yeah. Like the shoreline of the lakes, it does actually, the math is Minnesota has more shoreline than all three of those combined when you figure in the lakes. Yeah. The only one that has Minnesota beat is Alaska.
Yeah. Well, and then we have the only part of the the lower 48 that doesn't touch the 48. Up in that very top part of Minnesota is touching Canada. And it's water between Minnesota and there, and then Canada's right above them. So they're not touching.
Oh, I never knew there was water that actually separated that.
Yeah, now you have to look at a map. They're very, very.
Okay. So it's almost not lower 48 right there in that part then, kind of in a way.
Kind of in a way, because it's connected to Canada. It's not connected to Minnesota.
Oh, I see. Okay. I just pulled it up. I never realized that's how that actually looked. Wow.
See that big strip there?
Yeah, it actually is just a piece of Canada that has Minnesota stamped on it. That's weird.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember why, but something happened that we got in the United States.
Huh. That is, wow. That looking at a map, that doesn't even make sense. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is talking about not so much grip strength here, but just general strength. This is something we've been talking to with several of our most recent guests. It's a question we've asked everyone to see what their opinion is. And with your history of strongman and everything else, I'd be curious to get your answer. But if someone walked into your gym, we're going to train with you for the first time ever. You've never seen this person lift at all before. You don't know how strong they are. And the mission here is to be able to just watch them do one lift, and hopefully you're able to most accurately gauge their overall strength by just watching them perform this one lift. What lift would you choose to have them do for you to hopefully be able to most accurately gauge overall how strong they are?
Man, I'm guessing most people probably pick deadlift. Is that right?
Certainly come up a lot.
That is one of them.
We both tended to shy away from the deadlift, but that's certainly
what I think I would pick, in my opinion, what I would like, I think front squats. I like that a lot because it's a little bit more athletic. It's more difficult lift in terms of just being able to control the weight, how you hold it, all that kind of stuff. And that way you can see how they hold it too.
Yeah, I think front squat's a great answer. We've had that one come up a few times, not a ton. And it depends on who we talk to. You know, if we talk to someone with more of a powerlifting background, you know, they go towards squat and deadlift more. And when we talk to the strongman people that have more of a strongman background, that's when we get a way wider variety of answers. And that's
Mauser. His take was his a high handled farmer's carry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'm like, I can see the logic in that too. You know, if someone's able to pick up and carry they got the hand strength to hold on to it. But this is a question for you too. My one hole in that sometimes is are some people just naturally grip freaks too? I mean, if you have big hand, like, do you run across people that are just like, yeah, this person is just excellent at it, or not? I mean, does it just at that level? Does it take training to be there?
Obviously, I think there's always freaks. Like, it's always crazy because you can bring out a blob or an inch dumbbell, and if you find the right guy, they'll pick it up the first time. Like, I mean, I guess I never trained grip specifically, but like the first time I tried them, I picked them up.
Yeah. Right.
And a buddy who does construction just kind of lifts regularly, and when he came over one time, picked up the blob, no problem.
So similar question now related to grip then. So if you could only watch one person or watch a person perform one grip lift and you wanted to overall best gauge how strong their grip is, what grip lift are you going to have them do?
One grip lift. Oh,
man. It's weird too, because there's such a variety in the different types of grip and stuff. So if you could only watch them do one thing, what would you pick to hopefully gauge best where they're at, where they stand?
I think pinching two plates. So if they could do 225s, 235s, 245s, something like that, or two big bumper plates, that will give me a real good gauge of where their hand strength is.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The plate pinches. Yeah. That's another, that's why grip strength is so interesting, because there's so much variety there, what you can do. Like how many, do you ever do like tens, or isn't that a test too? Like how many dimes you can pinch together and hold, that sort of thing?
Yep. So like I've done 5 in each hand at the same time. 6 is like the best people can do, just because you have to have real long fingers because it spreads you up because the diameter.
Right.
So,
that would be one where I suppose like someone like Brian might have an advantage with hand size, just because like he can get his hands around 6, I suppose, or.
You got it. Yep, exactly. And then it's the trickiest part is finding 5 or 6 tens that are exactly the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you go to so many, got such a variety of different plates and trying to line them up and get them, and so that's part of it too.
Yeah. Coming up in your strongman training, is it right? You trained with Dave Osland or Osland. I don't know how he says his last name for sure, but didn't you come up training with him a little bit?
Yeah, so I got started training with Dave Osland, and that was right after he just got 3rd at World's Strongest Man. So
right.
I'm this like fanboying in a sense, but also like so excited to get into strongman. But to learn from Dave was like priceless, right? Like you're learning from one of the best, and in my opinion, probably one of the smartest strongman, because Dave would take so much time in figuring out to mimic what's going to be at the contest, like the implements, the handle height, the handle thickness. What's the best way I can maneuver my body to move this object? He was such like a scientist in figuring out how to like mimic things and to just what way can he use his body to best move this object.
Another Minnesota guy, obviously. Does he train? I mean, does he still lift?
He's still training, but yeah, nothing competitive. Just kind of, he's still got a garage with all of his stuff and does that, but nothing competitive. He's got 4 kids now, so he's super busy. But we get together once in a while. We talk, a couple times a month. So
that's cool. What about? Did you ever cross paths with any of the Gillinghams much over the years?
Yeah, so Carl, we would train at Carl's once in a while, Carl Gillingham's, and we competed against Carl many times, like at North America's Strongest Man and different contests like that, compete against Carl. So Carl's a good friend. Wade, I've met a few times at like the expos when he's doing the GNC grip gauntlet. I've actually never met Brad. So, but they were all like Southern Minnesota, and I was more up by the cities.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're Marshall. Right,
yes.
Tommy, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we got to. I had a roommate in college that trained with Brad. In powerlifting. He like a junior nationals at the time, and he was back one weekend and conned him into letting us go train with those guys.
Yeah, like 10 years ago, we went and trained at Jackals with Brad.
It was really cool. And that was really before it's felt like everyone had a garage gym or their own gym too. So going in there, that was definitely that old school environment where it was a lot of homemade stuff, and it was a whole different scene in there from what we were used to.
Oh yeah, those guys were big pioneers of like the home gym. Like Carl had turned his whole like second garage into a big gym, had all the strongman stuff, and then obviously Dave kind of mimicked that and created his own. But yeah, the Gillinghams for this area really were a big start to strength sports.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Is your gym, is it a garage gym? Is that where you train out of then, your place there, or what?
So like if you see my old videos, like I took a room in the basement, painted black, and started this just like almost like a skinny hallway type room. And then now we have a second garage that's detached from the house that's kind of out in the yard. We have a big like 2-acre lot, and I finally got my wife to let me turn into a gym. And so now I park outside so I can put some stuff in the regular house garage. But yeah, I finally, like, it's probably good, right around like a two-car garage size garage. And now we got everything in here. And I've even had like a contest in here now. So it's getting a lot of good use.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. We've got this little game we like to play with everyone that we get on here called Overrated, Underrated. And we've got a special Big Joel set of topics here. So if you're ready, we'll play. All you got to remember is you can't ride the line. We'll give you a topic, and you have to decide if it's over or under. You can't waffle on it. So you got to choose a side. This first one actually I had really liked at the time, but now it's not quite as good knowing that you played at USF instead. But I'll still say it because you might be familiar. So overrated or underrated? The NSIC, the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference, is the D2 conference with all the Minnesota schools and the South Dakota schools and everything.
The one prior to, not the new one, right?
It's what it is now. So it would be what like Mankato's in now, over. Okay. Because what was it?
The NCC is when I was there, and then prior to that, that's when like USD, SDSU, NDSU, UND were all in the NCC, and like that was the real deal. That was probably one of the best Division II conferences.
Okay, so you said overrated on NSIC.
Yes.
So we were when you were in track then. Did you ever make it to were you ever at Northern either for football or track, or did you ever go to Aberdeen for anything?
Yeah, we had outdoor conference at Aberdeen when I was coaching at Mankato.
Okay. So you have been to Western Northeast South Dakota before.
We went to the Pizza Ranch even.
Excellent choice. Yeah. Good choice.
About what year was this roughly?
Man, so probably like 2007, 8, 9, somewhere in there.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's going way back.
Do you know, this is a topic that's come up on the podcast a few times before, you having your throwing history, and you would know about this. So can anyone that wants to, I mean, I've determined the answer is yes, but it still seems odd to me, but anyone, you don't have to be in college. You can compete at a collegiate track meet. If you compete unattached, you can just show up and sign up and be in it. Is that right?
So any age. So like when I was doing track, there would be some older guys who were trying to like advance. Like if we went to like a big track meet, some guys who are trying to get in the Olympics, and sometimes like a high school kid who's really good too, they might run unattached as well. So any age.
So what about me? Just some dumbass that goes to the gym and I'm like, I want to go throw the shot, just see how far I can throw it in competition. You can just go do that.
You would essentially, you'd have to show up with your own 16-pound shot put, but yes.
Right.
Yep.
So how often did you encounter that though? I mean, would it happen multiple times a season, or was this like every couple of years you saw it?
So I'll give you two answers. So to see like other people unattached, not very regularly. What's kind of cool is, so say like when I redshirt freshman my first year, I can practice with the team, but I can go throw at the meets and travel with the team.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
So yeah, so there would be a lot of people unattached, but they were like redshirt freshmen, stuff like that. So, but regular people, I think I only counted the high school kid once. That was like, I think it was a girl running. I don't know if she was running sprints. And then if I was at like a big meet, maybe there would be in the throws, not very too often, but there would be sometimes where there's a really good athlete that trains in that city at that college that is going to compete unattached.
Okay. All right. Overrated or underrated? The captains of Crush grippers.
I think all grippers are overrated.
Yeah.
So no.
Oh, what? Say that again.
So no offense directly to Captains of Crush. I think they're all kind of overrated.
Okay. So for anyone that doesn't know, is 4 the hardest Captains of Crush? Is that the hardest one?
4 is like the gold standard. I think like 5 people. Carl Myerscough just got certified on it. So
okay.
Yeah.
And then there's a 3.5 and a 3 then.
Yep. So 3 is like the really hard one that most people try to obtain. A 3.5 is like another huge step, and then the 4 is just ridiculous.
Yeah. So you've done the 3 before?
Yes. And I'm not making excuses. The only one I have is a 3 is the heaviest one I have is a 3. I can do that. I've done it for like a double, but that's like maximum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you done like use Juji's grippers too? Like, do you? I
have 3 of them that I just like randomly got. I think 2, 3, and 4. So nothing crazy. Like those are pretty easy. But like I grip people are gonna hate this, but I don't train grippers ever.
Yeah. Okay.
And so why don't you like grippers?
This is just my opinion. I think grippers only make you better at grippers.
Yeah, I
Right.
can see that. Like I mean, I don't have a good grip, but the little bit that I've used grippers in the gym, it just, some of the guys are so good at it. And it's like they get the technique down and they go and it just boom, like it's automatic for them.
Yeah, so there's some technique to it, how you set it in your hands, and then hand size also, because if your hand's too short, you can't get it, to start. It's so open so far. Or if your fingers are really long, you have nowhere to squeeze around. Like it's like you hit kind of a point where you can't squeeze anymore because your fingers are so long. So it's also, I mean, everything in grip is hand size dependent, but that one really affects it.
Okay. Do you have the Juji Mufu big PP?
I did. I got it as a birthday present.
That's, everyone must have that grip tool.
Yeah, I have the original one, not the new resin one.
Okay, we have the resin one. So what's the original one? What was it made like?
It's more like a real hard texture.
Okay.
I don't know what it's made out of.
Okay.
Just a real hard PP.
Very hard people. Jealous.
Okay. Overrated or underrated brass shot puts?
I think overrated.
What did you throw with?
Just the like a regular steel one.
Yeah.
I like the bigger size one. I feel like just for whatever reason you can put more into it. I think if you have smaller hands, like absolutely like spend the fortune to buy a brass one. But I think you like physics would tell you you'd want like a bigger object to press into. I think.
Yeah, so that's I guess for anyone that hasn't been around shot put, those are, I don't know if they make any shot puts out of anything other than the two, but they're either, the regular metal shot put, or then sometimes you see people that have the brass shots and they're smaller around, they're shiny, and usually they end up getting dented up because it's like softer than, it's like a softer metal and they've got a little dimpling to them after a while. But so you did, like at collegiate level, was anyone using those, or was it some of both?
I don't remember seeing them too much because we all have like the same indoor ones where they're pretty much always a big one, and so I got used to that bigger size. So to switch to that smaller one, I think it would have messed with me and maybe like other people and just changed how you threw it and how it sits in your hand. So I don't think I've seen it very often. High school, yeah.
Do you have any shot puts now? Have you ever done is shot put juggling? Is that like a grip thing at all? Does anyone do that sort of stuff?
So the thing with the shot put would be was like, especially the indoor one, if you could pick up the 16-pound with one hand straight up.
Okay, palm it basically. Yeah.
Palm it and get it off the ground. Yes. So that was a little bit of a grip, but in terms of juggling, I don't have that skills.
I think you need to work on that. Be able to juggle shot puts.
Yeah. Okay. Upside down, yes.
Yeah. You could do. I bet you could do that. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay. Last one here had a few different ones. I'm gonna go with this. Overrated or underrated Caribou coffee?
Overrated. I'm not a coffee guy. I don't drink coffee.
Yeah.
Are you
for anyone that doesn't know? It's a very
all?
Minnesota. Yeah. What about cat? Do you like a pre-workout guy?
So just before my workouts, otherwise, like normally, like I don't wake up, have caffeine. I don't drink like energy drinks regularly. Whenever I drink an energy drink, it's like to go work out. And part of it might just be like psychology and like part of my routine, right? Is like having that pre-workout and then going to work out. So
yeah. So you're not a big because Caribou coffee is a Minnesota thing for anyone that doesn't know, and I don't know, it's infiltrated over to South Dakota. I think people like it, right? Tommy, is it good or what is?
Yeah, they're all over here.
Okay.
Aberdeen's got 2 of them now, so it's
booming.
It's making moves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my wife just stops at whatever one's closer.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll audible for one more Minnesota topic then. So overrated, underrated Prince.
Underrated. I think like his Super Bowl, like when he did the Super Bowl halftime, that was awesome.
Dude, that is so good. That is, every once in a while I got to go back and watch that, and it just blows my mind how good that thing is.
Like, what year do you think that was?
Oh, was it 2003 or 4 maybe?
I'd hate to guess.
I'll find it right now. We'll get an answer.
There you go.
Would it have been like Denver Broncos Super Bowl, like late 90s?
It was 2007.
Oh.
So that was Colts
Steelers
and give me the rest here.
Oh, Bears? No.
It just says Colts won on the Colts website.
I think the Bears.
They played.
I think it was probably against the Chicago Bears.
I would believe that.
Yep. That's my guess.
It doesn't say where at location.
Nope. Both of these just say, oh, yeah. Oh, here we go. Dolphin Stadium.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's Miami. Right.
Yep. It started raining like 3/4 of the way through it.
Yeah.
Oh,
was it purple rain?
Basically was. They had like purple lights going. That was amazing. That was probably the best halftime show ever.
Okay. Big Joel, good news. Looks like you passed overrated, underrated, so that's a pretty big accomplishment.
Yes.
It's right up there with closing at number 3, Captains or Crushes.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
It's like we certify you just like when you close the 3.5 and the 4 and stuff like that. So yeah, you've made it now. You're on the list.
Yes. Do you guys like grippers?
We've got we've got Captains of Crush up to 3 because we've had a few guys that were closing the 2.5, and I had told them, once you can close the 2, and I'm not buying the next one until you can close this one. So that was the reward once they closed the 2.5, and nobody at the gym yet has closed the 3. I am not that good at it. I can close the 2. And that's it. I can mess with the 2.5. I suppose if I worked on it long enough, maybe I could close the 2.5, but I am not good at it at all.
Yeah. So what people don't realize is with grippers, they vary so much. So like your number 3 and my number 3 can be 2 different like light years apart in easiness. So you have to like send it to this guy to like get measured to make sure it's in range of where it's supposed to be. So like the numbers on grippers actually like have no like real meaning. So that
makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I've always thought on the grippers too, like, so some of these grippers we've had for like 10 years and it's in a gym with not a ton of members, but we got people in there messing with them and stuff. I'm like, say this thing's been squeezed 1,000 times. Does that spring at some point lose a certain amount of whatever it's, tension or whatever, that it's just becomes easier over time?
Yeah, the recoil's not there like it used to be.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense though. So then what are the blobs that are in the gym?
We've got up to half hundred. We've got, what is the 1/200 called? We've got
so that's just like, we just call it the blob. That is the blob.
Right. Yeah. So we've got that. Like we've got a set of 5 that I randomly got used from someone like 10 years ago. I barely even knew what it was at the time. I was just buying gym equipment, and I'm like, I knew what York was. I'm like, these look cool. I guess it's some sort of grip thing, but they're all huge. Like I can do like the first one and sometimes the second one. These like are 1/200. Like nobody, the big ones we have, like they just sit there and collect dust because nobody can pick them up.
It's fun, and strength sports are kind of like this with a lot of things, but the grip especially, where you'll find one, you'll start at the easiest. You'll be like, oh, this is easy. You go up a step. This is easy. You're like, this isn't too bad. And then you go to the next one. It doesn't even move. Like it humbles you so fast on grip stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. We always say it's easy till it's not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It is. And you're like, well, there's not even an in-between ground here. How do I even train this? It goes from having it to nothing.
So has anyone gotten your 1/200?
No. Nope. Nobody ever has. Yeah. I mean, there again, it's another one. In our gym, we've got all these dusty corners of random stuff in there. So some stuff I'll see, I won't see even touch it for a few months. And then like, it's like guys get in, start busting it out. And then like a group will all get in on it on a Saturday and starts getting used more often. But the blobs, I really haven't seen the blobs getting used that much lately. But no, we don't have anyone that's like particularly awesome at the blobs that I've ever seen. Our lighter couple got a whole bunch of chalk on them. when you go to the blob, it's pretty clean because it's not getting even getting tested all that often.
What you can also do with your round heads is see how heavy you can go with it, like standing up, picking it by the head, like the actual dumbbell. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
If you're feeling good, you can try to do a transfer from the head, catch it with the other hand.
So how heavy of a round head can you pick up like that? Like, can you do like 30s, 40s, or like what can you do there?
I think my best by the head is a full 65.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't want people, and don't give anyone in my gym any ideas on the round heads throwing them around.
Just show up next week, Tanner. Every one of them's bent and broken.
Well, the saying goes, you can't really break it; it just turns into a blob.
That's true. That is true. But we got enough blobs. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, we kind of got a variety of grip stuff that we picked up over the years. One thing I've always kind of enjoyed training on is the Dinny Stone rings. You ever mess with that sort of stuff at all?
A little bit. So there was a guy at one of the local gyms messing with it, and I just tried it one time. So that's like a different type of grip where it's more like a pain tolerance, right?
It is. That's yeah. I have kind of smaller hands, and that's one I've found I can do decently at, like, because it is just like, if I'm okay with this feeling like it's literally like tearing through the skin in my fingers, you can kind of keep going.
Yep, that's exactly it. How much pain can you handle? But I do think it's such a cool feat of strength to lift that much weight and hold it or whatever. But yeah, it's such a different grip type event.
Yeah, and for anyone that doesn't know, like, a big reason it's different is because the diameter. We're talking a lot of this stuff. We're talking about large diameter. You know, it's like that's the test. Like, the diameter is getting bigger and bigger. Can you pick it up? And this is tiny diameter, so all that pressure is like on, you know, just hitting your fingers or hand, just in like that tiny little area.
Yeah, and then the big thing is not to rip those calluses with that.
Right.
The one gripper that I remember seeing, or grip tool that I remember seeing get used a lot, and now it's been a while, maybe you've seen it more recently, Tanner, would be the Rolling Thunder. Got used quite a bit for a while there.
Yeah, that still gets busted out. That's the same where, like, on a Saturday or Sunday morning, if someone gets any of the grip stuff, if someone gets it out and there's some other people around, everyone's doing it. And, you know, it's just like, oh, as long as you're going to load it and get it out, I'll do it too, you know?
That's what I love about it, is because then you're like, well, hey, you try this. You try this,
right.
You know?
Right. Yeah, and it's fun because some of it, you know, at least to an extent, it's kind of like low impact stuff. So, like, I can go, like, max out my Rolling Thunder, and, you know, I'm going to live to do whatever I want to the next day. You know, it's not going to, like, it's not like I'm be like, oh, deadlift, let me try that and see how much I can do just for the hell of it today. Right,
exactly. And that's it's so cool about grip stuff, is like anyone can try it. It's not going to tax your body. And it's not, essentially the risk of getting hurt is so low.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that is what's cool about it. I like that. We want to, at some point in time in the not too distant future, I mentioned this to you, but we want to plan we're going to do a little Minnesota trip, and we'd love to come over there and have you run us through some grip stuff, and we do some video and check out the gym and stuff like that. And I'm going to see if we can't look up Big Jeff Dave when we're there and get him in, and maybe we can get something going together. It'd be kind of fun. So
yeah, absolutely, man. It'd be super cool to get you guys here. What's always cool, what I love about going to like other gyms, is like seeing what kind of plates they have and see if you can hub them, or just all the different unique stuff that every gym has.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we want to check yours out. That'll be cool.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun.
Where do you want people to look you up and find you and stuff? Is it go through Instagram, TikTok, that sort of thing? Is there something else you want to direct people to? What's the?
Yeah, those two are my biggest, TikTok and Instagram. TikTok, obviously, it gets a lot of action on there, so it's just at Joel Dirks, DIRCKS for both accounts. It's just that's the best way to find me. Message me, whatever you guys need.
Yeah, how'd that go? Did you randomly did you post, like, what was on TikTok? What did you post first that, like, went kind of viral? Because some of your plate flipping stuff and really gets going on there.
The first ever video that went crazy was like, I put like make sure to put your plates away. Like, I picked a 45 off.
Yeah.
and put it back on the weight tree. And then that just exploded. And then from there, then all these big Gym Fail Nation, what are the other ones? They all started reposting my videos. And then from there, then just the followers came.
That is a good one too. And it's like, make sure to put your plates away when you're done and you just hub lifting it up onto the rack. That is good.
Yeah.
I do like that. Okay. Yeah. Well, we really appreciate having you on. This is a lot of fun. And like I said, hopefully sometime not too long, we'll get a hold of you and we can come and wreck your place and
Do
check
all the
some
fun
stuff
stuff
out. And yeah.
Get over everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. No. All right. We really appreciate it. Thanks again.
Thanks a lot,
Of
Joel.
course.
All right. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Cool beans.
Oh, that was fun, Tanner.
Did you give him his cool beans?
I gave him his cool beans. There must have been some setting. It was any time we would both talk at the same time, it would cut it out. So if you were listening, there was definitely a lot of times where it might have sounded like one of us weren't reacting. If you're watching, you can see there was tons of times we were both talking to each other and it was not coming across, which was kind of annoying.
The audio quality and everything was really good. It was just like,
I think there's a setting on Zoom where it might try to like mute extra sounds or something.
Okay.
So if he, if we're talking and our sound is coming through his speakers and then he's trying to talk, Zoom is probably trying to process that out in some way. That's my best guess for what's happening because he didn't have AirPods in or anything either.
that's what I wondered. Did he have AirPods?
I didn't think he did. He
Because
was moving
AirPods sometimes do funky things.
Yeah, a lot of
like
times
that, too.
AirPods have a delay, but this was actually like cutting out any crosstalk.
I tried to pay attention to that and then not, because it'd be like if you get him stopped and then we both try to say something at the same time, then his would almost be like muted.
Yeah,
then
it was
I'm like,
just
oh,
right
shit, I
at the
did
end
it
there.
again.
Even you go, oh, thanks, and you're like, yep, thanks a lot, and then he's talking more, and it's already cutting him off. It's like
Like
damn
at the
it.
end of that, it might sound like he wasn't saying like thanks or bye.
Yeah.
Like I promise he was. It's just
Yes, he
like
was.
it was
So,
just
yeah, that
muting it.
that's been an unusual one. We haven't really had that happen much as far as Zoom goes, but yeah, that was really cool. Actually, has me very excited. You had mentioned making a road trip, doing a Minnesota trip. It's got me very excited for this Minnesota trip. I think that'd be a ton of fun.
That's I think what we try and if we could arrange the Minnesota trip, we stop and get a lift in with Brad Gillingham.
Be awesome.
Which that would be a long time coming as anything on the Massenomics podcast is getting him on.
Back
and
to
doing
our
something there
roots,
with him.
right?
Yeah, back to our roots.
No, back to our roots.
Back to our roots. The original for anyone if you've been listening to the Massenomics podcast back in like 2016, 2017, I think Brad's what we would have considered the original friend of the podcast is what we used to say.
Yes.
Friend of the podcast, Brad Gillingham.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that
before there were
workout-
supporting members
That
and
workout at
actual
Jackal's.
friends.
Yes, that workout. Yeah. Before there was actual things. The workout at Jackal's predates Massenomics gym even. I like to think that maybe that had maybe an impetus as to making the gym happen.
Yeah. I mean, I think you could draw some parallels of the way that their gym looks. Versus, Massenomics is certainly uniquely its own thing, but like that's definitely an influence on. I remember leaving there thinking like, yeah, that is
like
100%. I was like, man, if we had a place like that to lift at, holy shit, would that be a game changer?
But it was though, because you realize until, and that was there was still a group of. I mean, the original group of guys, we all lifted at the Y together. We all knew what it was like to lift with each other. But when you're in an actual, like, real gym setting, it's different. And the first time you actually get to experience that, you realize, I kind of haven't been lifting all this time. I've been doing something that's lifting adjacent. But now I know what lifting was. And that totally changed the path of everything. It was like, we've been doing diet lifting this whole time. Like we want the full thing, all the calories, all the sugar.
That was what it was like when we were in Jackal's gym and they put on Highway to Hell and like we're all squatting, rotating out of the squat
there was
stands.
What was there? 6 of us rotating out of one stand together.
Yeah,
like one guy is going from like one guy, me in the mid 3s at the time, to other guys that are over 5, repping out over 5. And then our heights are also crazy different. We're all on the, Yeah, the squat. They're adjusting them. You tell the guy what your weight needs to be, your stand. They put it in. You go. Then the next guy goes, and then you're spotting from the side behind. It was so awesome. It was so much fun.
Yeah, I would say, Massenomics gym now is, of course, it's nicer than it's ever been before, and we have like all the best stuff, and like there's nothing else you would want for. But to be fair, there was like the first 2 or 3 years of Massenomics gym, there was something uniquely special about kind of having shittier stuff and like having a more limited amount of stuff.
You did. You did not. I can't really honestly think of many times in those first 2 years where I actually squatted alone, where I wasn't squatting with someone.
Never.
You for sure you always benched with someone because
we always all bench together. So yeah, we always bench together.
You'd bench. Time. You'd have guys. I mean, there was
would
days
bench with like 6 people.
You would.
Like
you'd have guys that their working weight would be in 150-ish, and then you'd also be on the bench, and your working weight would be in the high 3s. It'd be so, or maybe even more. It might have been 400. Like it was so all over the place, and that was what made it so much fun.
What's funny for me to think though is just. Like, did we all just go at the same time every day at the exact same time? It was just like, was it just like, okay, we're starting bench now? Or was it like, no, I'm on my first set, I'm on my fourth set?
That's
and like,
actually a good question because I know I would go with Ryan. Ryan would always be there with me. So we would be on the same time speed. But I'm trying to think because there'd also be guys like Matt, he'd show up.
People would come in.
And he'd kind of mix
just rotate in wherever you're at. And
I think
people would filter in and out of it.
Yeah, I think you would. You'd get, if you were behind, you'd just get your warm up done a little faster.
And it'd be like, no, we need to strip down to a plate. I'm warming up. Like, no big deal. Like that was always like, there was always plates all over leaning on the ground.
Leaning because up against the bench, up against the wall behind it, all around you. And you just knew what to throw on all the time.
Yeah. That is a unique, that almost with like how much bigger and how much nicer our gym got that you almost can't recreate because you did that out of necessity. Mm-hmm. And then as we got in this was a slow process as we slowly got more equipment, slowly got more space. It's just
and it was that thing we hinted at last week. We had some guys that were in college. Most guys were either single or didn't have kids. So your time commitments were so much different. You could show up at the gym. You just knew, all right, it's Monday night. I'm going to show up to the gym tonight about 5:30. Everyone else is going to get here between 5:15 and 5:50. And at some point, we're all going to be benching over the course from 6 to 7. We're all going to be benching at some time in there. And some guys will peel off earlier because they'll have less sets. Some guys will be here longer. Right. And then we'll all kind of go do accessories and just laugh about a bunch of stuff. And it was a different vibe then.
It was different. And it was like, if you weren't there, everyone would be like, where's Tommy tonight? Like, it'd be like, how is he not at the gym at 6? Like, what could he where could he be? Like, is he doing check? That's what it was like. It was like, oh no, these same group of people are here every night.
This accountability group. What's going on right now? There's only 5 of us on this bench. What's going on?
Yeah. Yeah. But that was definitely Jackal's Gym, Brad Gillingham inspired because we went from there and I was like, yeah, that's the secret sauce.
It was such a life force, a secret sauce. You saw it once and you realized this is how going to the gym is supposed to be.
But especially original Massenomics Gym really kind of probably felt a little bit like Jackal's where the way that's, that was dirty. That was like grungy, grunge version of Jackal's.
We have this room that's basically an oversized bedroom with like 10 guys in it and
with almost a dirt floor. It's very close to a dirt floor.
Yeah, that it only takes once though. You do that once and you realize what is possible. Yeah. So I guess I would love to make that trip back to there someday.
Yeah. So to get back to the Minnesota trip, then I think we do Brad Gillingham, big Joel Dirks would be really fun to go do drip stuff. And I would love to be able to get a hold of Jeff Dave and go do, and, I don't know, have him show us some arm wrestling stuff or even bring him to Joel's and do grip stuff would be really fun.
It'd be hilarious just to see his hand wrapped around different size dumbbells because it wouldn't make any sense.
You could picture all the YouTube thumbnails. Mm-hmm. They write themselves.
Yes, that would be awesome.
There's probably some other ones, but that could make for a really fun trip that I think we could probably line up, in a reasonable amount of time here, with just a little bit
down the road.
Yep. Good stuff there. got a little game. Do you want to play a little game here? A
I would
little
like to play
who
a
weighs
little game.
more?
Oh, we got
got-
more?
we
Who
got
weighs
time?
more?
Do we got time?
Yeah, we got time.
You know what I want someone, one of the listeners to do is write a little who/what weighs more little ditty that I can
little
hit.
jingle, a little theme song.
Yeah, a little jingle. I want a little jingle.
You
like
would
a little
think-
5-second, a little 3 to 8 second little jingle.
You'd think with this probably exists. I've just never looked into it. With the
AI.
advances in AI, I mean, you could definitely
For
tell
sure.
ChatGPT to write a song for it, but I can't imagine. I mean, you got to think that there's programs out there that would just, you can say rock beat for commercial for this, and it puts something together, and then you tell it to do some AI generated vocals. You drop them in, you got a whole song made. It's got to be a thing.
How long until that gets so good that like they could just write hits?
That's what wasn't it not that long ago? Someone put out a Drake song that was basically, it had learned off of Drake voices and Drake lyrics, and it came out with a song, and it just sounded like this is like any other Drake song that comes out.
Right.
I thought that wasn't that long ago. That was a thing.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I
it
can
already
picture
is a
that.
thing. There, the bigger problem is the artists could probably see their future disappearing because, all right, they got what they need from me, and then the label's like, we're rich. We don't have to pay
Right.
someone.
Right. Yeah, more AI taking over the world. Okay. So, but for now, we don't have a catchy jingle until one of the, brave listeners either, we got.
We'll
several
hold
instrument
tryouts.
players. Yeah.
It'll be Battle of
just-
the Bands, but it'll just be for our intro.
If you want to write a little jingly intro for any of our segments, feel free to try it. I can't guarantee we'll use it, but if it's good, we'll probably use it for anything that because I want more little jingly intros to play every time.
We want
They
this
don't.
to
They
sound.
can't be long.
We
I don't
want this
want
to sound like a local radio ad break.
Yes.
Just the most
Yes.
obnoxious songs constantly coming on.
Yeah, you can do it in any style you want to. Say you're heavy metal, you can write us a heavy metal intro.
Yeah.
Say you want it to be corny, cheesy
You
jingle.
want it to
do
sound
that.
like a barbershop quartet? Go for it.
Yeah,
man.
you can
We're
do
not gonna
that.
stop ya.
No, we just want
some
jingles
yodeling in
for
there.
segments. Okay, so Tommy, what weighs more, the Rogue Rhino belt squat or a 450cc dirt bike?
Oh, you're gonna say 450-pound weight, which made it really easy because I know exactly how much that weighs. Then the Rogue Rhino 450cc dirt bike. You said
That'd
dirt
be the
bike, right?
Yeah, what'd you say?
Did you say a 450cc dirt bike?
Yeah, that'd be like the common size of like a good size motocross.
Yeah.
dirt
I was gonna
bike,
say that
yeah.
seems like that's a full size dirt bike. Was gonna
Yeah,
be my
that's a big.
guess there.
That's not
Yeah.
a small. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a man's dirt bike. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've seen the Rogue Rhino belt
Yes,
squat.
I
at
have.
Massenomics
I've
Gym
stood on
before.
it even before. I've touched it. There's a lot of metal there. The dirt bike, there's tires and rims and plastic pieces.
There's yeah.
Well,
plastic
okay. Does the dirt
shrouds
bike
and
have a
stuff.
full tank of fuel or not?
We'll say it does.
Okay, it's been topped off with gasoline.
Yeah, it's
okay.
been topped off with fuel and oil. There's full fluid levels.
God, this
The
one.
Rhino. We'll say the Rogue Rhino does not have a belt. It does not include.
Oh, the belt is not on
the
there.
belt. The Spudink belt squat belt
is there
is not on
1,000
it.
pounds of weight loaded onto the
No
Rhino?
weight.
Okay,
No weight on
the
the
Rhino.
trolley.
No weight on
No.
it either. Okay, that's changing my guess. I was assuming it was loaded with like 500
And no
pounds.
belt squat belt.
And
like
no belt
in-
squat belt. Yeah, that actually could play a factor too. I think I'm gonna say the dirt bike weighs more.
That is not correct.
Oh,
I liked your reasoning earlier when you were saying the dirt bike has a lot of plastic and
Yeah.
tires and stuff like that.
but what got me thinking? I'm like, well, the Rogue Rhino looks so big because
Right.
it's just got a big metal platform, and I didn't put the
It
thing
does
together.
have
So
a-
I'm like, well, this is just really a platform with sort of an arm and a cable. So maybe that's deceiving how heavy that actually is.
Yeah, I could see that too. No, the dirt bike weighs 260 pounds.
Okay.
The Rogue Rhino, that's almost a little lighter than what I would have.
See,
pegged it
my
at.
guess would have been my guess was in the 3s for a dirt bike.
Yeah.
Never actually ridden a dirt bike, so I didn't know, but I would have guessed in the 3s.
And then the Rogue Rhino belt squat comes in at a whopping 530
Really?
pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have guessed that much there
it's
either.
heavy. Yeah, no, she's heavy.
Huh.
Okay. Next one. What weighs more, Heather Connor or $1 million in $50 bills?
And $50 bills. Oh, God. So we're talking roughly 100 pounds here. I really want the $50 and $100 bills to be the thing from dodgeball or whatever, where they open the briefcase and he's like, well, you've never seen $1 million, and it just fills up like a quarter of a briefcase.
Yes.
I want to say Heather Connor weighs more. $100 worth of paper, or 100 pounds worth of paper seems like a lot of, I shouldn't just say paper, money. Seems like a lot of money, 100 pounds worth of money.
But it is $1 million.
I know, and it is in 50s. I'm still going to say Heather Connor. Okay, depends. Has Heather Connor had a full meal?
She's topped off also. She's topped off.
I'm going to go Heather Connor on this one.
You are correct. Heather Connor, approximately 100 pounds versus $1 million in $50 bills, 44 pounds.
So
you're
not even
spot on.
close.
Nope, not even close. Only 40. They actually a trickier one would have been a 45-pound strength coat plate.
A strength coat plate, or that one would have really had me thinking.
That's what I should have done in hindsight.
I probably would have picked the money at that point, and I would have been wrong because you said it's 44.
44.
Yeah.
$1 million in $50 bills.
But at the same time, $1 million just seems like that should be.
Yeah, it's just a number. Yeah, right. Okay, last one this week. John Hack. What weighs more, John Hack or 300 Costco chicken bakes? So like a week's supply of Costco chicken bakes, 300 of them. John Hack or 300 Costco chicken bakes.
Okay. As much we've talked about Costco chicken bakes, I don't remember ever seeing the number for how many ounces those damn things actually weigh. So that puts me at a bit of a disadvantage here, but 300 of them, I don't think they weigh a pound each. I don't think there's a pound of food in those bad boys. So
as I made this one, I was like, how would I play this one out? And that was the first thing I would say. Is in my mind, I'm like, you'd think 300 of them. Do they weigh a pound? And you'd say they probably don't weigh a pound.
If they're 8 ounces each,
right.
That's 150. But that doesn't seem like enough for getting 52 grams of protein. I'm only having 8 ounces of food there. So you say, well, do they weigh 3/4 of a pound? And then I'm about 12 ounces though. Is it Costco chicken bake 12 ounces? In my mind, a Costco chicken bake probably weighs about 10 ounces. And if it weighs 10 ounces, you said 300 of them?
Yes, 300.
But John Hack, actually, I'm got to rethink here.
Yeah, do you know how much he weighs?
No, I have to rethink what he weighs. Does he weigh
analyze that half?
Yeah, does he weigh 220-ish? In that, his last few meets have been at 198, haven't they? You're not really allowed to answer.
Yeah.
But okay, are we talking about John Hack competition weight or John Hack on a normal, not competition weight?
We'll say competition weight.
Okay. So we're saying about 200 pounds for John Hack, 300 chicken bakes. I think I'm going to go John Hack on this one.
You are correct.
Oh.
John Hack weighs more. John Hack, I put him at 205 because that was his last comp.
Okay.
205.
What's chicken bake weigh?
I actually, even as we were reading, or as you were analyzing, I had to relook up because I'm worried that the weight I've got of the Costco chicken bake is the frozen one. Because what they're saying, when you Google quick, it says 227 grams, which is basically half a pound. So if you're saying they're half a pound, 300 chicken bakes weighs 150 pounds. But then as you were talking, I was just wondering, like, do I have the food court Costco chicken bake?
Yeah,
because I've done quite a bit of Googling of chicken bakes in the past, and a lot of times you can get caught up between but they are fairly similar calories. So I'm going to say the weight is fairly similar still. And we were giving, John Hack did have a 55-pound cushion. So I'm fairly confident in saying that John Hack still is heavier than even 150 food court chicken bakes.
Okay, yeah, because I just looked the food court one. Well, okay, what did you say for what you had for the food court
227 grams.
Which is how many ounces is that?
8, right?
Oh.
It's half a pound.
Well, this might make things a little more confusing
Okay.
because I
let's find out.
found the nutrition, the image for the food court nutrition facts.
Yeah, what do you got there?
And this has the chicken bake serving size as 12.45 ounces.
So that's 3/4 of a pound, right?
Yes.
So
Slightly over 3/4 of a pound even.
yeah, so in that case, the Costco chicken bake, 300 Costco chicken bakes weighs more. So really the question was I talking about the frozen or the food court? And really we're never talking about the frozen Costco chicken bake, honestly.
All right. So did I retroactively lose that one then?
Yeah, in hindsight, after we did send that one to the
Pulled
booth
the
for
rug
further
out from under
review.
me. The refs had it wrong. Someone from the crowd challenged it. They threw the flag.
And it does turn out that 300 Costco chicken bakes weigh more than John Hack.
I did lose. Yeah, this says 353 grams.
353?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a little over 3/4 of a pound, yeah. So that's to give you the final figure here on 300 of those. 300 233 pounds. So I think that's probably heavier than John Hack, even at maybe his heaviest walking around weights.
Uh-huh. God, it is just hilarious looking at this, that a slice of cheese pizza, 41 grams of protein, a slice of pepperoni, 34. The cheese pizza has 7 more grams of protein than the
pizza with the meat on it.
Yeah. Amazing.
Also, what is the Costco food court chicken bake is 50% larger than the frozen Costco chicken bake.
Mm-hmm. They ain't messing around.
That's something to think about.
Really
but the
good.
calories aren't that much different.
840 calories.
In the
food court one, 840.
And what's the frozen?
Let's see. It says 540 calories.
Oh, okay. Now that checks out then.
Yep. 35 grams of protein. Still not bad, though.
Not terrible macros in the frozen, but
no,
we want that. It's all about that fresh
The original.
Costco chicken bake. Yeah.
Yep.
So turns out this week, what did you went 1 for 1 right and 2 wrong?
Well, yeah. Sorry. Yes, I forgot.
Yeah.
I got tricked. I got duped.
Yes. Okay. Still pretty good. You had them all right last week. So overall, your average still batting a pretty good average on who weighs more.
Still winning.
What want to hit us with a little Texas Power Bar talk or something?
Oh, one of those old things.
Yeah.
I should probably hit you with 2 of them since you got 2 back to back.
Maybe a double whammy.
Today's show is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid 70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. Fast forward to today, and Buddy has taken all of his years of experience and knowledge and has now released the 29-millimeter Texas Power Bar. It is strong as a house with the best knurling, and it is maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, and world powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com. And today's episode is also brought to you by SwissLink. In 1995, Maurice Big Mo Huffman founded SwissLink with the mission to bring authentic Swiss Army goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. Over the years, that mission expanded to nations across Europe and beyond. Not only does Big Mo find authentic military clothing for Swisslink, he brings in everything you can imagine from Swiss bayonets to Czech microscopes. Swisslink.com is also home to the Swisslink Classic wool blankets. They're an ideal mix of 80% wool and 20% recycled fibers. It's that special blend that provides a soft, luxurious feel while maintaining all the benefits of wool. Wish you could wear your wool blankets around all the time? Well, no need to wish. You can now make that a reality with the Swisslink wool pants. That's right, wool pants.
Lanolin, like sheep's wool? That's an Anchorman reference.
That is definitely an Anchorman reference. Swisslink's exceptional collection and dedication to quality customer service distinguishes them from the rest. Enjoy a 15% discount at Swisslink.com by entering code MASS at checkout. That's MASS, Swisslink.com, to save you 15%. On the lines of Anchorman, Tanner, that did get me thinking. There were several people in the Discord mentioning that they do not find Will Ferrell funny at all. First, it started with Anchorman. They don't find Anchorman funny at all. Then several people said they don't find Will Ferrell funny at all, which I can understand if someone doesn't like Anchorman. I think you're wrong, but I can understand if you don't like Anchorman.
Yep.
But when people don't like Will Ferrell at all, I can understand that, but what really throws me for a loop is you like Massenomics related stuff, but Will Ferrell is too dumb or something. And I think some of our humor is so dumb and outlandish. It's in that same vein of Will Ferrell stuff, isn't it?
Well, yeah, for sure. You know what's a really underrated Will Ferrell movie as this whole discussion has evolved over weeks here? You know what I really think? And this isn't like an unpopular movie, so I'm not saying I'm making a bold, outlandish statement here.
Okay, let me
get
some guesses. Night at the Roxbury.
No, that's not what I'm thinking about.
Okay.
I just want to see if what I said, if I feel like that's true. I don't know that that's that under. I mean, I like Night at the Roxbury, and that's a classic because it's so old and early.
Old.
That basically is a long Saturday Night Live skit.
Mm-hmm.
I like Night at the Roxbury, of course, but that I don't even know if that movie is good or not. Like if I watched it now, it's been so long, I'd have to watch it.
So long, yeah.
But like that certainly is a classic.
Okay, I don't think you're gonna say Old School because I think we touched on Old School.
Yeah, that's just really good. Old School is really good. Also, like if you said I don't like Will Ferrell movies, but you said I don't like Old School, I'd be like, now what about Old School could you not like and think that's funny? That's definitely one of those categories that I'm like, that is just a good movie.
I totally agree with you.
It doesn't rely on like Will Ferrell like crazy humor either. That is just like that is straight up a good movie. But I was gonna say, do you want my take or do you got any?
Yeah, let's get your take. Here.
I was gonna say Step Brothers. I think is
really. I think it's
good.
hilarious.
I think that's another one. I'm like, how is that? Like, how could you not like Step Brothers?
I don't think Step Brothers is that. Yes, on the scale of stupidity, Anchorman is dumber than Step Brothers.
Dumb. Oh yeah,
big. Do you think it's that much dumber though? I mean, the premise of it.
I kind of think it is.
I guess the premise of it is just the premise of it is stepsons living with their parents, which on its own isn't an odd premise,
right?
But it's
then
odd
they're like
because
40s.
How insanely over the top they are.
Yeah.
But that's also, you could kind of say the same thing about Anchorman. Well, the premise of it, it's about some news anchors in the 70s.
True.
That's not
you
that
could say
dumb.
That about anything,
but what
right?
makes it dumb is how insanely over the top it is.
True. I guess I get what you're saying on that, but I still feel like there is some definitely separation between Step Brothers and Anchorman. I'm not sure. I don't even know how I would, because I agree with what you're saying, but I don't know. In my mind, there's still like a level of separation there.
Maybe because in Step Brothers, some of the characters are rooted in reality.
Right.
Where in Anchorman, no one essentially is. It's
like the parents are, mostly
mostly normal people, and a fair number of the other characters are kind of normal too.
Right.
Where Anchorman, everyone is just in La La Land.
Right. I really think Step Brothers is a really great movie, though.
Oh, it's amazing. It's great. That's why I
almost just as quotable to me as Anchorman in a way too.
Oh, for sure. Totally. Yeah. I mean, Anchorman has more meme moments.
Yeah. It's probably still more quotable too, because I think almost every line of the entire movie is like a meme or a quote.
They're all just
Like there's
it's
very
all
few
just
lines
sound
of the
bites.
whole. That's what I mean.
There's
You don't,
hardly any
like,
conversations that ever take place. It's just people exchange lines that almost don't even matter to what the previous person just said.
That's what, especially when it's like the news crew like around in like the office. I'm like, it's literally just like Paul Rudd saying something ridiculous, and then Will Ferrell saying something ridiculous, and then
the whole time that nothing in that scene really advanced the plot of the movie in any way at all. And there was all these guys talking, and also none of their conversations had anything to do with each other either.
No, I really like, just to bring this all back to Anchorman, when Paul Rudd's character with the cologne, you know, when he comes out and like when people in the office are freaking out and it's like, oh, it smells like Bigfoot's dick.
It's like burnt hair on it, whatever they're saying. I can't remember.
Yes. My original point was that Step Brothers is, I think Step Brothers and Old School, those are two that I'm like, I don't know. Could you not could you like comedies of that era and not like those films? What do you think?
Well, according to our Discord,
We'll find
people
out.
would say yes, but I disagree because to me those are high watermarks. Those were both ones that I really resonate with me. One person that doesn't come up much in this conversation of Saturday Night. There was so much conversation about Saturday Night Live in the Discord, a fair amount, talking about who liked people from what era, and it is always the discussion of, well, my era was the best, or the era that was like right before. No one ever says the era that was like after they turned 18 was the best. Everyone's like, oh yeah, once I turned 20, then the guys that came like 4 years later were like, no one ever says that. But never, I don't think I saw anyone bring up in there even mention the Andy Samberg era, which to me was amazing. I loved that, but that was also when I was in college, so maybe that was prime time.
That doesn't really get brought up.
I think Andy Samberg is so funny. I think he is hilarious. I didn't see him get brought up at all.
What were there, like, he has some really funny SNL stuff.
He has when he was hilarious SNL stuff, and then he had the whole Lonely Island thing. I mean, you could argue that might be, as far as the numbers go, one of the probably the biggest thing that ever happened with SNL, with I Just Had Sex and I'm on a Boat and all that. Those things were crazy in, 2010-ish?
Yeah. Also, this might be the tipping point here. Out of all these people, who is on the Massenomics podcast every week?
Oh, yeah, exactly, yes. I'm thinking Gino.
No,
okay,
cool beans. Cool beans.
That is that. But that time, man, there was, when I Just Had Sex came out, you knew every bar, every college party bar, when it got to be that time of the night, that song was coming on and people were going to lose their shit and it was going to be so much fun. So I was surprised his name never came up. The other name I was surprised that never really got brought up was Mike Myers, because I was always a huge Mike Myers fan.
Yeah.
And no one ever really, I didn't see his name really come up in the Discord, which surprised me.
That's true. Mike Myers also some really good SNL stuff too.
Good SNL stuff and
crushed the movies too.
Well, yeah, and he had some of the biggest movies at the time.
Right.
I mean, more Austin Powers than anything, but that was so
Austin
big.
Powers, but
it was just so big.
Well, and
Wayne's World.
Wayne's
World was probably my favorite movie from the time I was in about 4th grade to 8th grade.
It's just almost like that was so early. That was almost slightly a different era than like Austin Powers.
That
it feels like to me.
It was, and that might be. I don't have off the top of my head all the SNL movies down, but Mike, you have to say Wayne's World might be one of the best SNL movies ever made.
Right.
I would pick Wayne's World over Night at the Roxbury for sure.
Right. Oh yeah, because you're saying what actually developed, what was an SNL skit that became a movie.
Yes, if you're looking at, I just had to type it in: Superstar, Night at the Roxbury, Coneheads, MacGruber.
See, that's what I was gonna say though too. Is like some people that really like the really old stuff, they'll always have to bring up, like the original. That I'm like, maybe they'd say Coneheads or I don't know what are some other. Oh, Blues Brothers though, is that SNL or not?
I think yes, it is. And that was before.
That's what I'm saying.
Like any of those.
Yeah.
Those ones don't even. Those ones don't even resonate with me. Even
but
when people
Blues
say
Brothers would have to be on that list. I bet like they put that up there high.
It would. Yeah. And when people say Dan Aykroyd, SNL, that's not even a thing to me. I don't even know if I could tell you a Dan Aykroyd skit.
Blues Brothers, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, but even that, I don't.
I actually don't. I never watched that. I watched. I did watch the. Because growing up, I did watch on Comedy Central. They had a lot of SNL on all the time, and I did watch a lot of the Adam Sandler, Chris Farley, like the stuff that was on in like the early '90s. I did see, even though that would have been really technically before my era of when I should have been watching it. Like I watched those in syndication a lot.
Those were on a lot, and that was also around the time when you could get. This could sound so old to some people. You could go to certain video stores and they would have the best of Adam Sandler, the best of
Will Ferrell,
best of Chris Rock, or whoever it is, Chris Farley, and they would have these tapes for him, and you could watch the basically highlight reel of their SNL skits.
Do you think Dana Carvey is funny?
I think he's funny. He probably gets less cred than a lot of the members. I don't think his name comes up as much, but I've always thought he was funny. Dude, Master of Disguise, did you ever watch that movie?
No.
I would actually love to watch that movie again now because I remember genuinely thinking that movie was very funny when I was younger. He's the Master of Disguise. He just does a lot of the movie is essentially him in situations where he has to do different bits where he's dressed up as a different thing. And I thought it was crazy funny when I was in middle school. I'd love to know how that holds up now.
I don't know if just thinking of people that really crushed it though, it seems like Adam Sandler, from what he was to like what he was able to take himself to now, like he seems like nobody took a launching pad like that. Hardly, a bunch of these people we're talking about obviously became famous movie stars, but I think part of it, he was so young on SNL too. It's like, oh, you took this kid singing stupid songs. I mean, that were actually very funny. I'm saying they're stupid, but like hilarious. And now he's like, he obviously crushed it with his comedies, but he's kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a really hard one to say because when I type in, biggest SNL stars,
right?
The names you see are Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy,
right, Chris Rock, yeah,
Bill Murray, and depending on who you are, I could see how any person could make an argument like, no, Bill Murray is the biggest name of all time to come out of there or something.
I can see that. That'd be hard to argue against that too. But see, I don't think of him that much of SNL because I didn't watch that era.
I don't either.
So that's just my own thing.
You could say, no, he was never on, and be like, maybe, I don't even know. I didn't watch those episodes, so I'm not sure.
Right. And I don't know if they would be funny in hindsight to me or not. I wouldn't get like if they're roasting
whatever pro athlete that you kind of didn't know about at the time, or some politician from somewhere that you also
I just wouldn't get it anyways. That would be probably my limiter.
But my favorite skits were always just the ones where people were just acting like insane crazy people. And Will Ferrell did that great. Adam Sandler did that amazing in a lot of them, and also all the ones that had like singing too were always so funny too. Anytime they could incorporate music into it and things like that.
Yeah, Chris Farley is.
He was just the insane person. He'd just go into a situation and then elevate it, escalate whatever was going on times 1,000, and that was his whole thing over and over.
Like the yelling and screaming is insane. If you just look up like a YouTube clip of like Chris Farley yelling, and because I was pulling clips of stuff, I'm like, it's insane how much screaming, like how much over the top stuff he was doing.
Yeah, he was. That was all of it.
Yeah. So what's the point, I guess?
I think we were just, I think I started originally that it sort of surprises me that people in the Discord are somewhat particular about their comedy, but also do find Massenomics funny because in my mind, any of those people that people are saying aren't funny are 1,000 times funnier, or at the very least more entertaining than us. So maybe that means something, that we're more entertaining to some of these people than Will Ferrell. My brain's trying to wrap my head around that one still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something to think about.
It is.
You know who else is really good as a more modern member? Fred Armisen. Fred Armisen is so good. He is hilarious.
He gets good credit though, I think, for that too, right? Like people.
I think he does. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's really bad though now, and this is what people have always said, is the current cast of Saturday Night Live. I'm like, none of these people are going to be like.
I don't watch it, so I can't even say if they're good or bad.
I've watched some on and off and stuff, and I'm like, nobody here is And we've talked about this too, and it is like the death of the movie that's part of the problem. Like none of these people are gonna
Go on to other careers.
anything, like Keenan's gonna like run Saturday Night Live, but but even him, like is he in any movies?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they don't make
I also don't know if
movies
he's particularly
anymore, so
funny. Actually,
it just
even if I think
depends. You get him in the right situation. He's had some.
Yeah,
he's been there for
I
so
can't actually
long.
think of some now too.
He's had skits
right.
where I think he's super funny, but I don't even see anything. It used to be all the time when I think back to being college age. SNL skits, they'd be put on YouTube or whatever online. People would put them on Facebook. They'd be on different websites, and you would see them and you'd share them and all that. I can't even tell you the last time I ran across an SNL skit online. I don't know if they even put them online anymore.
The only SNL skits that ever I see come across online are political ones, where it's like where people are impersonating political personalities, and I'm like, is that the only, like, that's like the lowest hanging fruit way to do a skit? It's like, can you make something funny that's not having to be like Joe Biden or Donald Trump or like
the commentary of the day, like, and that is
right.
Yes, I think any modern comedy thing like SNL, to not do the politic thing at all would probably be a little weird, because that's always been a part of it.
Right, right. It always is.
So like,
yeah,
but
very
also,
deep rooted.
I want to see so much of just the dumb, crazy skits, off the wall characters. Again, comedy. It's a break from the politics, because everywhere you go in your life, you're surrounded by it. Then you're like, oh, I got to go to the comedy show. That's also all politics too. You're like, just kill me. I can't get away from this damn stuff.
Yeah. Yes, that's kind of my take on that too. But SNL now, and this is probably what old people always say forever, though, that SNL now sucks. But if you were in the 90s and you took someone that was 45, they probably said, oh man, this group really sucks compared to what I watched when when I was 25. And it's like, to me, I'm like, the 90s, that produced like some of the greatest comedians of all time, out of those casts. But they probably, old people then probably thought it sucked.
I'm genuinely curious though. Are people still hyped on Saturday Night Live? Do people still like it? And I'm just that far out of touch. Like I have nothing against it. I'd love to sit down and watch an episode. I just don't watch anything hardly.
If I was watching TV, it's something I would watch. Even if I don't particularly like it that much, I would still just like it just because I like the history of Saturday Night Live, and they do callbacks of things, and they get, like, to me, it relies on Will Ferrell, to use a relevant example, him coming in and him not even hosting the show, but like they get him on and do Celebrity Jeopardy or whatever. And it's like a callback to all these. Now that was funny. Also, the Celebrity Jeopardy on SNL was all-time classic skits to me too.
Yep, those
like
were really
that
good.
was good. Wasn't Norm Burt Reynolds? Norm Macdonald was
he would do
Burt
that.
Reynolds.
Yeah, he'd always have like a big hat on and
yes, and Will Ferrell was Alex Trebek, right? And then who was Sean Connery? And he was like, suck it, Trebek.
Yeah, what is that guy? Is it Daryl Hammond? Was that who that was?
That could be, yeah. Those are good, really good skits.
Yeah, there was a lot of funny stuff out there, man.
I don't even know what this conversation is.
Just reminiscing at this point. That's all it is.
It's just sitting around being like, now that was a good skit. Now those were funny skits.
This is actually, all right, this is the hot take. Going against the grain on this. A lot of people in the Discord, it's actually really popular, I think, nowadays to hate on Jimmy Fallon. I thought Jimmy Fallon had a lot of really funny skits on SNL. The knock people have against him is he laughs too much. He's always laughing.
He's breaking
character
right?
too much.
He's breaking character.
But as a kid growing up, I thought, hey, that guy's having the most fun out of everyone out there. That's why I always liked it.
I would need to see I would need to really be reminded of what some of his better skits were. Like, no, I don't know if I really think he's all that good or all that bad or whatever. None of it's like super memorable to me, but it's probably a point in time where I wasn't watching quite as, like, I had periods in time where I was or wasn't watching quite as much, and I just don't don't have as much of him that sticks out in my memory either way.
Yeah. I don't.
But people do dog on him.
Yeah,
a
people
lot.
do dog on him, and in my
I know
mind, there's
that.
so many people that are just not even memorable. They don't even come up because they're not memorable. Jimmy Fallon is at least memorable. Some people apparently think for the wrong reasons, but I've never had that much of a problem with him. I don't watch his show. I don't watch the Late Show with Jimmy Fallon because I don't watch any late shows. But he was on Weekend Update forever. I know he's not the original Weekend Update guy, and there's a lot better ones. But I always thought him and Tina Fey were entertaining on the Weekend Update.
I think Tina Fey is a really good SNL cast member. Actually, I think she was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
She's people love Eddie Murphy when you go into older ones too, but that's again before
That's too
my
far back
SNL.
for me.
So
And
I do think
Horatio
there's some really
Sands, that whole era with Jimmy Fallon, Horatio Sands,
yeah.
Chris Kattan, like that, they had so much goofy stuff there.
Eddie Murphy has some really good movies though. He really crushed it in terms of movies too. Like he's up there with some of the biggest movie stars that came out of that too.
He is.
Did you
Definitely.
like, where is it when it's like them sitting around the dinner where Eddie Murphy plays like all the people in the movie? What is that called?
The Doolittle. Dr.
Is that
Doolittle?
what it was? Yeah, was that the Dr. Doolittle movies?
Wasn't
Yeah.
it? Is that when he played everyone?
Is that where they're like around the dinner table and he's like every single character?
I think I'm wrong.
It's like Hercules.
Oh, yeah,
Isn't
no,
that?
I'm wrong. That's God, why are you asking me? I'm the one. Oh, Nutty Professor. There you go.
The Nutty
God.
Professor. There you go.
I'm thinking Professor, Doctor.
Have you seen The Nutty Professor?
I did. I saw it when I was much younger. It's been so long now that I couldn't even tell you what it's about. Do you remember it all?
Not much. I mean, no. I should just say no. Not very
Invents a
much.
miraculous weight loss solution. Okay, I knew there was some chemistry thing. And I was wondering if maybe I'm thinking of Austin Powers Mojo. I couldn't. It's getting it all mixed up, but
Yeah, they've got Bill Hader ranked really high on this list. Like,
I think Bill Hader's super funny too.
yeah, I'm just surprised that he's above his. I'm just looking at a random list, and he's just very high. He's the one that sticks out to me of where they have him.
He's another guy that makes really, really goofy characters between Stefan and
Yeah.
the one. Did you ever see the ones where he'd always have the puppets? He'd have the puppets, and it would be like the one puppet would be like this war torn like Vietnam vet that would go on about things. Yeah, he just had a bunch of really good ones.
Yeah. So who's your favorite SNL cast member of all time? Did you say
all
that?
time? Oh boy. I don't know if I could answer that question off the top of my head. I'd probably have to give some thought there. Because it's a challenge because of the eras and it's all different through
Right.
time. Adam Sandler is for sure up there. Will Ferrell's for sure up there.
Those are my top first two that I think about. I'm like, yeah, it's probably between those ones for my.
To me,
era.
Andy Samberg is up there. I think he's so funny.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of who else belongs up there.
Mike Myers. I don't know if
I just don't know.
Purely SNL. I don't really place him that high.
I can't think of enough of his skits that were just.
I'm sure Bill Murray you could make a case, but I don't know
any
his SNL either.
I can't even
so,
put him in the
yeah.
conversation because I just don't know enough.
I'm like pretty much Adam Sandler, Will Ferrell. I think honestly, I don't know. On my. Oh, Chris Farley. It's pretty. There's some pretty ridiculous, iconic skits there from Chris Farley. Still, I don't think the sample size is quite as big as some of the other ones. So
yeah, I'd have to do more thinking on this one. Really
Yeah.
relive my childhood.
to be continued.
Yeah. We'll follow up next week
Okay.
where we think about this more out loud.
Okay. Anything else we need to touch on this week?
That's probably it. Damn, this all of a sudden got 2.5
we-
hours in. That came
We
out of
better
nowhere.
bring this in for a landing
Holy.
until we talk about.
Just reminiscing about the old days.
I wonder how many weeks we're gonna keep on this. I think it started with Anchorman, and we relived Anchorman, Dumb and Dumber, and it just keeps snowballing into this further, somewhat classic comedy.
Has anyone said yet?
Conversation.
Has anyone said yet that they don't like? That they don't like Austin Powers? Has that come up yet in the Discord?
Well, we'll put a challenge out there for who wants to make the hot take of not liking Austin Powers, because I like Austin.
Again,
I think as a
with all these-
trilogy, it
with
kicked
all these
ass
comedies,
too.
I can always understand when someone says a certain comedy like isn't their style.
Right,
But there's a
right.
big
I
difference
could
between like being like, no, it's
yeah.
not my style, or I think it's actually bad. So I'm curious
Right.
if people actually think Austin Powers is bad. I'd love
Well,
to know
that is an important distinguishing thing too. If someone's saying that's not my style, because you can, that's very easy to wrap your head around. Or do people just say the same? It's kind of like the classic overrated, underrated thing. Are people?
Are they
When
riding
people
the
say they
line
think
too
it
much?
sucks, are they really saying, "Yeah, it's not my style"? Like,
Yeah.
is there a difference there or not?
An important distinction.
Yeah. More next week
More to come.
on.
When we
the
say
same
next week, when we say next week, we mean closer to like 2 weeks
Yeah.
or so. But
more in the following
More
months
in
as
the
we
future.
continue to tear apart these same comedy movies over and over and over again.
have you ever listened to any of the Lonely Island albums, Tanner?
No,
Oh.
no, I haven't.
You should. That's
Is it good?
Andy Samberg's band. It's
Yeah,
the guy. You know,
yeah.
it's the guys from Hot Rod. They're so
Right,
funny.
right.
They're so funny. Those things
Yeah.
are they're hilarious. It's just
So there's multiple albums.
they have 2 for sure. I'm trying to remember if they have 3. Oh, I bought every time
I'm
those
sure
would
I'd
come out.
like it.
Every time those would come out, I'd buy it the second it come out and just listen to it 1,000 times. I thought they were so good. Put that on your
Maybe
homework
they
list.
Maybe they could write us.
You could Tanner. You can buy it on iTunes and listen to it on the plane when we go on our travels.
I do not buy things on iTunes.
I know. No one buys things on iTunes.
They will not dupe me into spending perfectly good money on things on iTunes. Not this time, iTunes.
Dude, dick in a box, jizz in my pants,
Yeah.
mother lover, I just had sex, I'm on a boat.
Dick in a box is a very yeah.
Oh,
Many of the I guess if you're saying I've listened to the album, the answer is no. But like, have I heard like all of those? I feel like the answer is yes, almost. You know.
Yeah. They had one that's so funny because rappers would always say no homo in their songs.
Yeah.
And they had one where they just keep saying the gayest thing they possibly can, but then say no homo and they make it sound like the toughest rap.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, so many. There's just a lot of classics there. Yeah. Like a boss. Yeah. Everything. It was like Rick Ross or whoever would always have like a boss. And so they would just eventually it's shit on my desk like a boss. Like cry to my mom like a boss. And it just keeps going on and on and on.
Yeah.
Just take it to the extreme. Okay.
And you can all take it to the extreme by going to Massenomics.com and purchasing things like a drink spotter or some T-shirts or a supporting membership that we talked about earlier. And while you're at it, head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review of the podcast. We'd love to have your reviews over there. Check out our YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribing. New YouTube videos every weekish. So stay tuned for more from our escapades to the eastern reaches of the Midwest. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Bear. Just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.